points, and Nifty 50 also went above 24,550 mark point. So this is a bit of a good news that we have. I have with me Pranav live joining from the newsroom. Pranav, this is a good news. We have already seen how since the war started, we have seen a constant dip in the markets. But today, the markets have gained a little bit of momentum. What is the latest that you're picking?
Well, yes, today, in fact, the market have been showing a little bit of bounce, and that's thanks to the overall reaction that started yesterday after Donald Trump said that the US will be insuring those, frigates or those merchant navy warships or oil tankers that are passing through the Strait of Hormuz. So once that assurance came, the US markets reacted positively. Asian markets today followed the suit, and Asian markets opened higher. And the Indian market is also up right now about 0.73%. Sensex is up about 0.6%. But it's too early to gauge or say what are the reasons behind it or whether this is a bounce back that is likely to last. The volatility continues to be there. The fears, however, are a little bit settled or down because India VIX, which is actually the fear index, is down by about 11%. So it shows that the market volatility has reduced for the day, but whether it continues to stay and whether it remains, whether it bounces back, we need to wait and watch.
Pranav, we are also picking that individual shares of India's leading oil companies, IOCL and BPCL, they are also picking. So, of course, the sentiments are now picking up after the statement by the Indian government.
Well, it is basically what we need to understand here is one, the oil prices, the fluctuations in oil prices is what is actually affecting the Indian corporates. I mean, those companies such as the Indian Oil Corporation or Reliance or so these companies which are directly using oil for refining or as OMCs, oil marketing companies, and then there are other companies which are using oil as an input product. So once the oil costs go up, it is their input costs that are going up and the profit margins are coming down. So market participants are still weighing it high. We need to, it's too early to probably comment as to whether these are buying opportunities that investors are looking at because of which these shares are rising, or it could be that, there are some historic positions that are being covered or cleared because of which the markets are rising. So we actually need to wait and see for a concrete news or some sort of positive news as to whether this is a permanent bounce back.
Absolutely, Pranav. Continue to track this particular story for us. But as of now, thank you so much. Now, moving on to another news. As the Middle East war escalates and expands, the United States has released a new video of the American Operation Epic Fury, calling the first 100 hours of the operation lethal and successful. Now, United States said that the operation will continue till all the goals are achieved. Watch the video that was released by CENTCOM.
The United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury,
the most lethal, most complex, and most precise aerial operation in history.
Our military in the Middle East is undertaking an unprecedented operation to eliminate Iran's ability to threaten Americans, as they've been doing for nearly half a century. We are also sinking the Iranian Navy, the entire Navy.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved.
Now, as the war wages on in West Asia, China is all set to send a special envoy to the Middle East for mediation. Now, this comes as Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi spoke with Saudi Arabian and UAE counterparts. Take a look. Day 5 of West Asia war. Casualties increasing by the day. World leaders, stakeholders huddling and holding phone calls to help reach an end to the endless war in West Asia. China is also weighing its options. For now, sending its envoy to Middle East for mediation. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi held a phone call with Saudi Arabian and UAE counterparts. In the talks, China hailed restraint shown by Saudi Arabia, urging everyone to engage in peaceful dialogue. China earlier took a position on the West Asia war, condemning the joint strikes by US and Israel as blatant, called the incitement to regime change as unacceptable. China also called for immediate ceasefire and requested to return to the negotiating table to prevent the war from expanding. With many countries engaging to find a headway, the stakes were never higher than this since World War II. So China, they are trying to mediate in the West Asia war. But taking a short break, coming up, Iran threatens to target Israel's Dimona nuclear reactor if United States and Israel seek to change regime in Iran.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
Right, taking a short break. Coming up, war reaches Indian Ocean. US torpedoes Iranian ship off Sri Lankan coast.
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाई जीरा सिर्फ MDH का जल जीरा जीरा सिर्फ।
जीरा सिर्फ असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
Viewers, Republic India Women's Summit 2026 celebrates the spirit, strength and substance of women who are shaping nation's present and defining its future. This weekend, we bring together extraordinary voices from across sectors, from the brave ranks of the armed forces and CRPF to arenas of sports, from the corridors of law and politics to powerful worlds of cinema. Built on stories of courage, determination and relentless pursuit of excellence, this summit is a tribute to women who lead with conviction and inspire with action. Republic India Women's Summit 2026 is more than a platform. It is a movement of strength, a celebration of purpose and a powerful salute to the women driving India forward. Now let's take a look at the headlines we're tracking for you at this hour. Iran threatens to target Israel's Dimona nuclear reactor if US and Israel seek to change regime in the country. Iran says that the US and Israel miscalculated and claims to have inflicted very serious damage. War reaches Indian Ocean. US torpedoes hit Iranian ship off Sri Lankan coast. Iran government says over 6,000 injured in attack by Israel and US 926 deaths confirmed in Iran as per the latest numbers. In a major development from Bihar, Nitish Kumar heads to Rajya Sabha as BJP is set to take over the Bihar government. DMK Congress seat sharing talks finalized. Congress gets 28 seats and a Rajya Sabha berth as part of the deal for elections. Welcome viewers, you're watching live and breaking on Republic TV with me, Shita Mitra. Now beginning with big developments coming to light from West Asia. The Israeli army has launched a series of attacks on Hezbollah targets in Beirut, Lebanon. This including a headquarters used by Hezbollah's Air Force and command centers. Now, the Israeli military spokesperson stated that these attacks were in response to Hezbollah's missile and drone attacks on Israel. Additionally, Israel claims to have destroyed a ballistic missile launch platform in Qom, Iran that was preparing to launch towards Israel. So Israel now claiming a big target hit all across Lebanon as well as in Iran. It has launched a fresh wave of attacks targeting Hezbollah command centers and Air Force center in Lebanon. In fact, it has also claimed to destroy a ballistic missile launch in Qom. This is a ballistic missile launch pad. In fact, it was destroyed in Israel's latest attack on Qom in Iran. So we're looking at Israel intensifying its operations, not just in Lebanon, but also across Iran. Hezbollah command centers, Air Force building hit in Lebanon, while a ballistic missile launch pad is what has been destroyed according to Israeli claims in Qom, Iran. So essentially, Israel going not just for the military targets in Lebanon, but also for the air defense systems in Qom. Now it's going for the launch pads. This time a ballistic missile launch pad has been hit in Qom in Iran, according to the latest claims made by the Israeli army. We're getting you visuals as well of the attacks at the command centers, Air Force building, which has been hit in Lebanon by Israeli forces. These are the Hezbollah terrorist organization's key infrastructure, according to Israeli claims. They have been hit in the latest attack by the IDF. Those are the visuals on your screen showing you the latest wave of attacks carried out by Israel against Hezbollah command centers, the key infrastructure of the Iranian proxy in Lebanon. In fact, Air Force headquarters has been hit, a command center has been hit, is what we are given to understand in Beirut. And now, viewers, as the Middle East war escalates and expands, the United States has released a new video of the American Operation Epic Fury, calling the first 100 hours of the operational lethal and successful. The US says the operation will continue till the goal is achieved. Watch this latest video put up by the US CENTCOM.
The United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury,
the most lethal, most complex, and most precise aerial operation in history.
Our military in the Middle East is undertaking an unprecedented operation to eliminate Iran's ability to threaten Americans, as they've been doing for nearly half a century. We are also sinking the Iranian Navy, the entire Navy.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved.
All right, viewers, we're getting the first reaction by Iranian Foreign Minister after its vessel was destroyed yesterday in the Indian Ocean. Syed Abbas Araghchi now says that the US has perpetrated an atrocity at sea 2,000 miles away from Iran's shores. Frigate Iris Dina, a guest of Indian Navy carrying almost 130 sailors, was struck in international waters without warning. He says, "Mark my words, the US will come to bitterly regret precedent it has set." This is the first reaction, strong words coming in from Iran right after Iris Dina was hit in the Indian Ocean by the US yesterday. And the first reaction that is coming from the Foreign Minister, Abbas Araghchi, who now says that the ship was in fact struck 2,000 miles away from Iran's shores. A frigate Iris Dina, a guest of Indian Navy carrying almost 130 sailors, it was struck in international waters without any warning. Now, he's clearly said, "Mark my words, the US will come to bitterly regret precedent it has set," which means the war, the theater of war is certainly now going to expand, given that we're looking at attacks in Indian Ocean now from the US side, and Iran also reacting very strongly to those attacks. All right, in fact, that's the first reaction coming in from Iran regarding the attack on Iris Dina in Indian Ocean. Iran is strongly saying that this attack came on its ship without any warning, 2,000 miles away from its shores. And this will, in fact, set the precedent, which means we're looking at Iran also intensifying its attacks against US and Israeli targets. It could go well beyond West Asia, it seems, at this point now. And viewers, this comes as the death toll, in fact, has crossed already 900 mark in Iran, according to the latest numbers we're getting. And remember, this comes as Iris Dina. It was a ship which, in fact, had participated in Indian Excise International Fleet Review. It was going back to Iran, and it was struck by a US torpedo in the Indian Ocean, just 40 kilometers south of Sri Lankan island, some 100 kilometers from Indian coast, and certainly the theater of war widening there. And you've got a reaction from Iran's foreign minister saying that US will bitterly regret the precedent it has set, which means as US is now expanding the theater of war, we could see some similar action from Iranian side as well. The foreign minister has clearly said that this attack on its ship Iris Dina came without any warning, about 2,000 miles away from its shores. When this ship was not, in fact, engaging in any war activity, it was returning to Iran after having participated in a naval exercise and international fleet review. It had about 130 sailors on board. Remember, from the numbers we're getting from about Sri Lankan sources, it says about 32 have been rescued and 84 bodies have been recovered so far. It had made a distress call around Sri Lankan coast, to which the Sri Lankan Navy responded and the rescue ops began. The numbers that we have with us, viewers, it says about 32 rescued and 84 bodies recovered. So it's a big loss for Iran. And now we've got a reaction from the foreign minister, which has clearly stated that, it could set a precedent, which in fact the United States will regret now. It has said that US will bitterly regret the precedent it has set with this attack that took place 2,000 miles away from Iran's shores on a ship that was not engaging in any war activity. It was a ship returning from after having participated in International Fleet Review, the naval exercise. It was returning. It was in the Indian Ocean on its way back to Iran when it was struck by a US torpedo. It sunk the ship. 84 bodies have been now recovered. 32 sailors have been rescued. The Iran says there were about 130 sailors on board that Iris Dina. It was struck in international waters without any warning, is what Iran is saying. In fact, the foreign minister now says, mark my words, the US will come to bitterly regret the precedent it has set with this attack, which means it was an attack carried out by the US away from the theater of war, and we could now see similar action by Iran as well. And now, viewers, as the Gulf War escalates, what is also increasing is the number of casualties on both the fronts and strains on the global economy. The war that began between Israel, US and Iran has now engulfed whole of the Middle East, with even sub-fronts opening between Israel and Hezbollah. So with this mayhem in the Middle East, which is translating into a major impact on the global economy, the larger question, viewers, is that how long will this war last? Watch this detailed report about the same.
Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime.
الان متروی رد میشم به این چیه اونجا چیه
Well, most of the people we had in mind are dead. So, we had some in mind from that group that is dead. And now we have another group, they may be dead also, based on reports. So I guess you have a third wave coming in. Pretty soon we're not going to know anybody.
The kind of bombing going on in Tehran and the kind of retaliation by Iran, I think we should wait and watch for at least 3-4 days. Mustafa has now taken over as the new Supreme Commander, almost in lines of his father in his thinking, and a person who has lost his father, mother, wife, daughter, everyone in this entire bombing there. And he has been appointed as the Supreme Commander, who himself was once responsible for Basij, and also the IRGC is committed to him. In that context, much of diplomacy may not really work now. And with this, the kind of bombing going on in Tehran and the kind of retaliation by Iran, I think we should wait and watch for at least 3-4 days before either does Iran capitulate, which again may be difficult, but not totally ruled out, primarily because Iran is now on its end of its resources. They are on commercial drones, small drones, big drones. The number of missiles have reduced much. Anybody might say they've kept some as reserves. I don't think so. Iran has shot whatever it had and may have kept about 10-15%, but that's not likely to cause very huge difference, one. Second, some earthquake kind of a thing being noticed 10 kilometers down. One doesn't really know what that earthquake actually involves. Is it a nuclear testing done by Iran? Yet someone says that they may go in for a hypersonic missiles, things of those kind. Very difficult at this point of time because the Americans and the Israelis have not gone to war with closed eyes. They know exactly what the capabilities of Iran were, though Iran may have surprised by the resilience and by the retaliation. Notwithstanding, I think Iran, as long as that, if it had confined itself only to bombing or shelling of the US bases, the 19 of them in West Asia, it would still have been accepted because you're bound to, because if you're at war, you can expect that retaliation. But since Iran has expanded its bombardment, missiles, drones on commercial assets of Kuwait, or Dubai, or Bahrain, or Qatar, is indicative that now a divide between the Arabs and the Persians would grow wide. Earlier, it was expected that the entire community might get together and fight the Israelis and fight the Americans, but it doesn't seem so now. There's a divide. And therefore, the kind of infrastructure of Iran in total stress, whether it is on electronic warfare, cyber warfare, all of its kind, and much of its missiles and drones aren't making the impact that they were supposed to, primarily, again, because it's very difficult to keep a control of the command. But my guess would be, let's wait for at least about 3-4 days, and maybe we would be able to come with, the Americans are prepared for a long drawn war, but the Iranians may not be able to take on that unless the expectation of change of regime, the change of regime is almost ruled out because it's the same regime, same thinking, same ideology. So the change may not come unless people themselves come out and revolt, which again seems the country is on 40 days mourning for their religious head who controlled them for almost 36 years, and his son alone has now taken over. So expect for well, if they do not capitulate, then a long drawn war. But then, since Mustafa has taken over, tighten your belts and be ready. And if you want peace, be prepared for a nasty, expensive, destructive war. And sooner or later, Iran obviously have to lose, but it's better that they, going on a negotiating table, diplomacy, dialogue. If Iran wants it, can still be done. But if they don't want it, difficult. But then we'll have to wait and watch. Can't really say how long. But maybe 4 to 5 weeks at the most. But within a week, we will know how long.
And now, viewers, moving on to another development coming to light. Iran here has denied a missile launch toward Turkey after NATO interception. Iran's armed forces say that on Thursday, they did not fire any missile toward Turkish territory and that the organization respects Turkey's sovereignty. Remember, Turkey's defense ministry said Wednesday that a ballistic missile fired from Iran toward Turkish airspace after having passed over Syria and Iraq was destroyed by NATO air and missile defense systems over the eastern Mediterranean. But now Iran coming out and denying all those allegations, refuting the allegations put by Ankara, saying that it did not fire any ballistic missile toward Turkey. It says it respects the sovereignty of Turkish airspace as well as territorial integrity. Remember, this comes after Turkey had claimed that there was a ballistic missile fired from Iran. It passed over Syria and Iraq and was then intercepted by NATO's air defense system. And now, viewers, a dramatic escalation in the widening conflict. An Iranian naval vessel has been struck in the international waters near Sri Lanka. Rescue operations are underway in the coast of Gele. This comes after the warship sank with casualties feared. In fact, it has reached about 84. Now, the United States has confirmed carrying out the strike, raising serious questions about how far this conflict has now spread dangerously close to India's maritime neighborhood. Take a look at this report.
Sri Lanka's navy rescued more than 30 people from an Iranian naval vessel that sank outside Sri Lanka's territorial waters. The Iranian vessel was attacked by US torpedo. The Iranian naval ship was shot 40 nautical miles south of the Galle port in Sri Lanka. This attack claimed the lives of more than 30 Iranian naval personnel.
We launched and dispatched our craft with all the necessary rescue team and the necessary devices to render humanitarian assistance, and we reached up to that location and continued doing this search operation. So while doing search operation, we found people floating on the floating in the water and rescued them, and later on subsequently when we inquired them, we found that those people are belonging to the Iranian ship, and we understood that they need prompt medical attention, and we swiftly transferred them to the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital, and right now they are undergoing medical treatment. So we still continuing the search and rescue operation in that particular area.
Even Pete Hegseth confirmed the attack.
Last night, we sunk their prize ship, the Soleimani. Looks like POTUS got him twice. Their Navy, not a factor. Pick your adjective, it is no more. In fact, yesterday, in the Indian Ocean, and we'll play it on the screen there, an American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II.
Iran's ship that was struck, the Iris Dana, is a Moj-class frigate that patrols in deep water for the Iranian Navy. It is armed with heavy guns, surface-to-air missiles, anti-ship missiles, and torpedoes. It also carries one helicopter. This attack isn't just about an attack near Sri Lanka, but this is an attack near India's doorstep.
And now, viewers, Iran's retaliatory Operation True Promise 4 has escalated tensions in the Middle East, turning the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical oil routes, into a potential war zone. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claims it has now operational control over the strategic waterway and has warned that any vessel attempting to pass through it could face missile or drone attacks. For India, the situation is specifically concerning. Nearly one-third of its oil imports come through that strait. Republic's exclusive real-time vessel movement data now shows that vital corridor turning into a no-go zone, with ships either halted or rerouting. Take a look at this report. The most significant and strategic route of global oil shipping, Strait of Hormuz. In the recent acts of retaliation, Iran has now attacked an oil tanker passing through the strait. Even as 200 oil tankers are held up. Question arises, why is Strait of Hormuz so relevant? The Strait of Hormuz, the world's most sensitive maritime choke point. 1/5 of the global oil supply passes through the route, as also roughly 1/3 of India's oil and gas. A narrow maritime corridor that connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman, the Arabian Sea, and ultimately the Indian Ocean. Iran lies to its north, and to the south are Oman and the United Arab Emirates. As tensions grew, the global oil supply route was cordoned off. Warnings were issued by Iran. If the US or any other country launches a strike, this would follow. And the impact? Inflation, global increase of oil prices. With the Strait of Hormuz now blocked, the impact on international energy trade remains to be assessed. Coming to light, an oil tanker has been hit by a large explosion, and this took place off the coast of Kuwait. It has caused a major oil spill in the ocean as well. This is what we're given to understand. An explosion hitting, in fact, a tanker off the coast of Kuwait, causing a major oil spill. So now we're not just looking at impact on global economy. the geopolitical impact but also environmental impact of this war which continues to widen in West Asia. There has been a large explosion reported on an oil tanker off the coast of Kuwait. It has caused a major oil spill, is what we're given to understand. That's the latest, viewers, and the latest update coming to light from West Asia. Remember, on Republic, we're breaking all the developments of West Asia war as they happen. And this is the latest that we're picking up. An oil tanker was hit by a large explosion. It was off the coast of Kuwait. It has caused a major oil spill. Now, more details are still awaited as to which country, in fact, attacked this oil tanker. It's likely to be Iran, but oil tanker belonged to which country is still not known at this point. But this oil tanker has been hit by a large explosion off the coast of Kuwait. It has caused a major oil spill, is what we're given to understand in the latest developments coming to light from West Asia. All right, viewers, that's all we could pack in this edition of Live and Breaking. But don't go anywhere. On the other side, we talk about how Iran has threatened to target Israel's Dimona nuclear reactor if US and Israel seek to change regime in Iraq. In a major development from Bihar, Nitish Kumar heads to Rajya Sabha as BJP set to take over the Bihar government.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
यानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा सबका राजा आर्थिक मसाला।
عدل تصفية هناك
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
You're watching Live and Breaking on Republic with me, Ishita Mitra. Now, viewers, the theatre of West Asia war is widening. The latest attack reported on Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean by a US torpedo. We'll get you all the details on that. But first up, let's take a look at the headlines we're tracking for you at this hour. Nitish Kumar confirms Rajya Sabha entry, steps down as Bihar Chief Minister. JDU workers protest outside his residence in Patna. Iran threatens to target Israel's Dimona nuclear reactor if US and Israel seek to change regime in the country. Iran says that the US and Israel miscalculated. Iran claims to have inflicted serious damage on the countries. War reaches Indian Ocean. US torpedoes hit Iranian ship off the Sri Lankan coast in Indian Ocean. Iran government says over 6,000 injured in the attack by Israel and US, 926 deaths confirmed in Iran as per the latest numbers. Australian Prime Minister announces deployment of military units in the Middle East. All right, viewers, the top focus at this hour. There's a big update that's coming in. Australia now entering the West Asia war. It has announced the deployments of military units in the Middle East. Australian Prime Minister announces that there will be military deployment from its side in the Middle East. We're looking at more and more countries now becoming the part of this war. Gulf already has been pulled in. We're looking at deployment by European countries as well. And now Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese also coming out and saying that there will be military deployment from its side in the Middle East. Viewers, that's the big development we're tracking for you at this hour. Australia now saying that they will be deploying military units in the Middle East. This as the theatre of war is widening. The latest attack was reported in the Indian Ocean. And now viewers are getting you Iranian ambassador exclusive to Republic regarding the tensions in Middle East. All right, viewers, we're getting an exclusive of the Iranian ambassador regarding the tensions as they continue to escalate in West Asia war. Let's take a listen.
The current situation, you know that all the institution, all state institution and public services moving forward in normal and legal way. And you know that we are due to our constitutions. We believe that according to our constitution we can do well, and despite of now we are in condition, war condition, and we are facing with foreign pressure. You can see and you can observe in Iran the public service and institution continue their work very well.
So the vessel, Iranian vessel, was struck by the U.S. Submarine near the Sri Lanka. So what do you want to say about that?
This is very bad news and sad news. We are on the process, and we want to follow this case, and our relevant institutions now are investigate what's happened, what was the reason for this happened. But very bad news and very sad news. Yeah.
So Donald Trump claimed that the war will be end in 4 weeks. Now he's claiming that it will end in 2 weeks.
Donald Trump, I think that's changed every day and every hour his stance. This is very important for and unfortunately they disturb and destroyed all the international norms and all international law.
So what do you want to say that by what time can Iran sustain in this war?
For what?
How much time Iran will?
This is up to other side. But we announced several times, you can start, but the duration with Iran, the end of the war with Iran, they can, because before that we said that we are ready for peace and war, but absolutely we prefer the peace, and we re-entered the table negotiation. Yes, and in spite of that, we be fully aware about the intention. But for taking away any excuse from them, we demonstrate our sincerity. And unfortunately, they showed open hostility. This is very important. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So what do you want to say about the current situation which is unfolding in Iran?
The current situation, you know that all the institution, all state institution and public services moving forward in normal and legal way. And you know that we are due to our constitutions. We believe that according to our constitution we can do well, and despite of now we are in condition, war condition, and we are facing with foreign pressure. You can see and you can observe in Iran the public service and institution continue their work very well. Yeah.
So the vessel, Iranian vessel, was struck by the U.S. Submarine near the Sri Lanka. So what do you want to say about that?
This is very bad news and sad news. We are on the process, and we want to follow this case, and our relevant institutions now are investigate what's happened, what was the reason for this happened. But very bad news and very sad news. Yeah.
So, Donald Trump claimed that the war will be end in 4 weeks. Now he's claiming that it will end in 2 weeks.
Donald Trump, I think that's a change every day and every hour. His stance. This is very important for and unfortunately they disturb and destroyed all the international norms and all international law.
So what do you want to say that by what time can Iran sustain in this war?
For what?
How much time Iran will?
This is up to other side. But we announced several times. You can start, but the duration with Iran, the end of the war with Iran, they can, because before that we said that we are ready for peace and war, but absolutely we prefer the peace. And we re-entered the table negotiation, yes, and in spite of that, we be fully aware about the intention. But for taking away any excuse from them, we demonstrate our sincerity. And unfortunately, they showed open hostility. This is very important.
All right, Major General Samarpal Toor now joins us on the broadcast. Thank you so much, Major General, for joining us. I want to ask you, there was an attack on Iran's warship in the Indian Ocean by US yesterday. And now today, Iran's foreign minister has come out with a clear warning that US will regret this. How do you see this going forward, sir?
I mean, people are mentioning about this attack in the terms of morals and it was incorrect. But you see, when two nations go to war, then I think it really doesn't matter whether you are within the vicinity of your country or you are in international waters. If you come face to face with a frigate of the country which has attacked you, you should probably be more prepared and more alert. But it is said that it was one of the US stealth submarines which has carried out this attack. So I really don't see that there was much deterrent with this frigate in terms of it defending itself. And you see, everything's fair in love and war. It's an open war. The ambassador itself has said that the US has declared an open war. So I certainly feel that the Iranians should mentally totally be prepared as to whatever hostilities will occur. That will occur only when they are confronting or in face-to-face of the enemy. And other than that, there will be deceptions, there will be decoys, there will be, deceiving of one another. So these are all military tactics. So I think it's part of the game. And I mean, it's just too sad that this should not have happened. And probably the Iranian naval frigate captain should have been more alert and call as per what route he should have taken, what route he should have exited, and how he could have commuted his way out, or he would have probably stayed a little longer in the Indian ports or at the Sri Lankan port. And other than that, I want to make one thing clear. This is in the area of responsibility of not even Sri Lanka. In fact, it was away from the Sri Lankan international waters. It was almost 40 nautical miles away. So you see, the nearest rescue was from Sri Lanka. Just too bad it has happened in the Indian subcontinent. But be it the Indian subcontinent, be it the Pacific, Atlantic, or wherever in the world it can be. But as on date, when an Iranian ship is facing the American ship, you better press that button and save yourself. It's survival of the fittest. You are at war. So it's just unfortunate what has happened. And I certainly feel that this is going to be a prolonged war. It's not going to end very soon. And I have noticed that the intensity of missiles being fired at Israel is increasing by the day. The frequency is increasing by the day. And it's not decreasing. So that is the cause of real concern. And now that Hezbollah has also got into this war, they've started firing their rockets and started sending their suicide drones into Israel. So it's going to be a multi-pronged war, and let's see how it pans out. But in times to come, they will have boots on the ground. I put in an article on my Twitter account as well. There are going to be 3 phases of war in this. First is the air phase, which they have already done. They've achieved the air superiority. Now, phase 2 is pathfinders. They are going to collaborate with the Kurds in the west of Iran, and they're going to collaborate with the Baluch fighters to the east of Iran, and with Pakistan military, and with Jaish-e-Adal, which is a anti-Shia proxy set up by the Pakistan ISI.
Right.
So,
Major Tour, it looks like that, all the countries are in this for a long war, and I'll get your reaction on that. But Republic also spoke to Iranian ambassador exclusively on this attack and also the developments in West Asia. Let's play that for our viewers, and I'll come back to you for response on that as well.
So what do you want to say about the current situation which is unfolding in Iran?
The current situation, you know that all the institution, all the state institution and public services moving forward in normal and legal way. And you know that we are due to our constitutions. We believe that according to our constitution we can do well, and despite of now we are in condition, war condition, and we are facing with foreign pressure. You can see and you can observe in Iran the public service and institution continue their work very well.
So the vessel, Iranian vessel, was struck by the US submarine near the Sri Lanka. So what do you want to say about that?
This is very bad news and sad news. We are under process, and we want to follow this case, and our relevant institutions now are investigate what's to happen, what was the reason for this happened. But very bad news and very sad news. Yeah.
So Donald Trump claimed that the war will be end in 4 weeks. Now he's claiming that it will end in 2 weeks.
Donald Trump, I think that's changed every day and every hour his stance. This is very important for and unfortunately they disturb and destroyed all the international norms and all international law.
So what do you want to say that by what time can Iran sustain in this war?
For what?
How much time Iran will?
This is up to other side. But we announced several times, you can start. But the duration with Iran, the end of the war with Iran, they can, because before that we said that we are ready for peace and war, but absolutely we prefer the peace, and we re-entered the table negotiation. Yes, and in spite of that, we be fully aware about the intention, but for taking away any excuse from them, we demonstrate our sincerity. And unfortunately, they showed open hostility. This is very important.
So what do you want to say about the current situation which is unfolding in Iran?
The current situation, you know that all the institution, all the state institution and public services moving forward in normal and legal way. And you know that we are due to our constitutions. We believe that according to our constitution we can do well, and despite of now we are in condition, war condition, and we are facing with foreign pressure. You can see and you can observe in Iran the public service and institution continue their work very well.
So the vessel, Iranian vessel, was struck by the U.S. Submarine near the Sri Lanka. So what do you want to say about that?
This is very bad news and sad news. We are under process, and we want to follow this case, and our relevant institutions now are investigate what's happened, what was the reason for this happened. But very bad news and very sad news. Yeah.
So Donald Trump claimed that the war will be end in 4 weeks. Now he's claiming that it will end in 2 weeks.
Donald Trump, I think that's changed every day and every hour his stance. This is very important for and unfortunately they disturb and destroyed all the international norms and all international law.
So what do you want to say that by what time can Iran sustain in this war?
For what?
How much time Iran will?
This is up to other side. But we announced several times, you can start. But the duration with Iran, the end of the war with Iran, they can, because before that we said that we are ready for peace and war, but absolutely we prefer the peace, and we re-enter the table negotiation. Yes, and in spite of that, we be fully aware about the intention, but for taking away any excuse from them, we demonstrate our sincerity. And unfortunately, they showed open hostility. This is very important.
All right, viewers, we also have the first reaction from Iranian Foreign Minister after the vessel was destroyed yesterday in Indian Ocean. Syed Abbas Araghchi has now said that US has perpetrated an atrocity at sea 2,000 miles away from Iran's shores. Frigate Iris Adina, a guest of India's Navy, carrying almost 130 sailors, was struck in international waters without any warning. He goes on to say, mark my words, the US will come to bitterly regret the precedent it has said. That's a big warning coming in from the Iranian side. The foreign minister now clearly laying it down for the US that this was not called for. You attacked a ship which was 2,000 miles away from Iran's shores without any warning, a ship that was not engaging in any war activities, and now the foreign minister clearly says that US will come to bitterly regret its actions by attacking the Iranian frigate Iris Adina. Remember, the ship was attacked just 40 kilometers from Sri Lankan coast, about 100 kilometers from Indian coast. It made a distress call to Sri Lankan Navy yesterday, which was in fact responded to by the Sri Lankan Navy. The rescue ops began. So far, about 32 have been rescued, 84 bodies have been recovered. All right, viewers, another big update coming to light. Donald Trump has now thanked the NATO chief over the support for Iran mission. Donald Trump here has come out thanking NATO Secretary, the Secretary General, saying that US allies broadly support Iran mission. That's a big admission on the part of the US President, who now says that he thanks NATO and the allies who are broadly now supporting Iran's mission, essentially saying that NATO stands united, sending out a big message as well, because there have been NATO members, including Spain, which have refused military base access to the US. But here, Trump coming out and saying that we thank our NATO partners, we thank the Secretary General for their support in these attacks and their operation against Iran. So clearly trying to send out a message that there is no rift, no divide within NATO nations. It stands united as a collective defense organization in this mission against Iran. Remember, attacks are continuing across the Gulf on US assets. Several nations have now been pulled in from European continent, including continent, including United Kingdom, who are now deploying ships to help the US. And now Donald Trump coming out with a statement on NATO, thanking our NATO allies, saying that US allies are broadly supporting this mission, this operation against Iran. So to send out a message that there is no rift within the Western countries. All right, viewers, that's all we could pack in this edition of Live and Breaking. Thank you so much for watching. And on the other side, we discuss how Iran has now threatened to target Israel's Dimona nuclear reactor if US and Israel seek to change the regime in the country.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा और प्योर मसाला।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH।
يا نعش اللي يشيل الشيعة، زرتنا طاح المرتفع.
A very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching Republic TV. This is Shivam Dutt Mehta. Republic India Women's Summit 2026 celebrates the spirit, strength and substance of women who are shaping the nation's present and defining its future. This weekend, we bring together extraordinary voices from across sectors, from the brave ranks of the armed forces and CRPF to the arenas of sports, from the corridors of law and politics to the powerful worlds of art and cinema. Built on stories of courage, determination and relentless pursuit of excellence, this summit is a tribute to women who lead with conviction and inspire with action. Republic India Women's Summit 2026 is more than a platform. It is a movement of strength, a celebration of purpose and a powerful salute to the women driving India forward. Now, let's have a look at the top headlines of the hour. Nitish Kumar confirms Rajya Sabha entry, steps down as Bihar Chief Minister. JDU workers protest outside Nitish Kumar's Patna residence. And also, Iran threatens to target Israel's Dimona nuclear reactor if US and Israel seek to change regime in Iran. Iran says the US and Israel miscalculated Iran's claims to have inflicted very serious damage. A war reaches the Indian Ocean. US torpedoed Iranian ship off the Sri Lankan coast in Indian Ocean. Now, death toll. The Iran government has said that over 6,000 injured in the attack by Israel and US, 926 deaths confirmed in Iran as per the latest numbers. All right, viewers, let's begin with the first story. Top big breaking news that we are getting right now at this moment. Now, Iranian Navy targets fuel tanks with drones at Ramat David base affiliated with Israel. So this is a very big development in the war zone, in the West Asian conflict that is happening right now in this moment. A big development where they have struck the oil tanker. Now the war is escalating to a level where there is no comeback. Iran is attacking Israel with more missiles, with more attacks, and now this is a drone attack that has taken place. A big development. Iranian Navy targets fuel tanks with drones at Ramat David base affiliated with Israel. We're getting this latest development, where Iran Navy targets fuel tanks at Israeli base. This is confirmed that Iran has targeted fuel tanks with using its drone technology. Iran possesses advanced drone technology and advanced missile technology, and it has been firing a lot of missiles, a lot of drones in this entire conflict with Israel. A barrage of missiles were launched towards Israel. Many waves of missiles and also many waves of drones have been launched by Iran towards Israel and all the US bases and US military assets. And these are the latest visuals of the attack by Iranian Navy. The Iranian Navy has targeted fuel tanks with drones at Ramat David base affiliated with Israel. IRGC has already warned that this war will intensify. The future attacks will be more intense amid the ongoing conflict. It has already warned that it might attack if the US and Israel will seek a regime change. It might attack their nuclear reactor, which is in Israel, and also has escalated the tensions even further by further targeting the Israeli assets, and also this time they have attacked fuel tanks using drones at Ramat David base, which is affiliated with Israel. The latest visuals on your television screen from the war zone, from the conflict zone. Many are dying when it comes to the attacks that is happening right now from the missiles that are being fired by Iran. Death toll is rising majorly when it comes to Iran, and also many have died in the war zone in the entire Middle East region because all of it is engulfed in the ensuing war that is getting more and more wider. The area of it's getting more and more wider, and Iran is continuously striking Israeli assets and also American assets. All right, viewers, we're getting another big breaking news right now at this moment. Explosions have been heard in Bandar Abbas port in Iran. A big development here. And new threats escalates in the Middle East tensions. The explosions reportedly occurred near Bandar Abbas, an area associated with the first naval zone of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The port lies close to the strategically important Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route for global oil supplies. Now, explosions heard in Bandar Abbas port, which is a major Iranian port. Now, this first on Republic, on your television screen, as you can see, Bandar Abbas port has been targeted. The war is escalating to further level, and also this port is very close to the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Iran, the IRGC, had earlier claimed that it has complete control over the Strait of Hormuz, which is a very important strategic shipping route for shipping vessels. It's a major route for transporting oil from that region, and it is the Bandar Abbas port is pretty close to the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Iranian assets have been attacked. Explosions are being heard as of now in Bandar Abbas port in Iran. So Iran is fighting an endless war with Israel and United States of America. These are the latest pictures that are coming in. Plumes of smoke, visible fire, visible on your screens. Exclusive first on Republic. As you can see, the vessels are also being attacked. Now, Bandar Abbas port in Iran has been attacked. The Bandar Abbas port, the latest visuals on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, this war is going on to unprecedented levels. Though Iran is fighting back, but it is also taking many hits. Iran's Bandar Abbas port, very strategically important port, which is very close to the Strait of Hormuz, has been attacked. Very big development here. Iran already claimed that it has complete control over the Strait of Hormuz, and already had warned earlier that no ship should pass by this route because they will attack any vessel which passes from this route. And America also had said that it will give protection to the vessels which are passing through the Strait of Hormuz. So this war between America and Iran over the Strait of Hormuz, because it is an important strategically located oil route, shipping route, very important for many countries, strategically important even for India, because most of the oil comes from this region. For many countries, it's strategically important, not just for India, but also for China. Very important location, the Strait of Hormuz. The IRGC had claimed that it has kept a complete blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, and the war is near the Strait of Hormuz. All right, so these are the latest visuals on your screen from Bandar Abbas port. As you can see, the powerful explosions and fires were reported in Bandar Abbas, which is a strategic Iranian port city on the Strait of Hormuz. All right. Now we are being joined by a guest. We are being joined by KP Fabian, who's a former diplomat. KP Fabian, sir, thanks a lot for joining us to speak on this issue. But the war is escalating to a level from where there is no coming back. How long do you think Iran is capable of continuing this war? It has already warned that it will escalate to a level where the attacks will be more intense. But what's your take on the war that is ensuing in the Middle East region, sir?
Thank you. I was in Iran 1976 to 79. Anyway, that was a long time ago. And had seen the Shah at the zenith of his glory and his exit. Now, coming to Iran, what we have to understand is that thanks to President Trump's announcement and also announcement by Prime Minister Netanyahu, the Iranian regime is not going to fall tomorrow. The regime, of course, I do not like the regime because, it unnecessarily tells women what to dress, how to dress, and other things. And I don't like theocracy. When I was there, the young Iranians had wanted democracy and had taken so many copies of the Indian Constitution from me. But that apart, the regime is in a way solid, and it has arms, it is organized, and the protesters are not organized and they do not have arms. That is point number one. Now, what Israel and America are doing, especially Israel, Netanyahu wants to repeat a Gaza in Iran, destroy everything, kill as many people as possible. Now, what is Iran doing? Iran is having a two-pronged strategy. One, of course, is to send missiles and drones to the GCC countries, targeting the foreign bases and hotels and all that. But basically, Iran's strategy is causing economic damage in the GCC area with implications for the whole globe, including the United States. As you know, the oil prices are shooting up. Gas prices in Europe have doubled. And the stock market is going down. And 9,000 Americans have been evacuated from the Gulf. Now, the question is, how long can President Trump afford this? And there I want to connect the dots. The White House has announced that President Trump will be visiting China from the 31st of March to the 2nd of April. For Trump, that is a very important visit. China has already put out a statement saying that Trump should respect China's red lines. Now, we know that after the nuclear deal was signed in 2015, China had signed a contract with Iran to invest $400 billion, I repeat, $400 billion in energy and infrastructure in Iran. That was sometime in 2016. Now, almost 10 years have passed, and I don't have the statistics, but we may take it that the Chinese must have made a part of that investment. They also import oil from Iran. So if, and China has not yet announced Trump's visit, and so if Trump wants to have a visit or a successful visit to China, then he would have to put an end to this war. And it is possible for him to do that because any day he can declare victory. He can say that he has killed the supreme leader, that he has sunk all their ships, that he has eliminated their missile-making, drone-making capacity.
So, but they have not been successful in the regime change. If the supreme leader is not there, the son might take over as per the initial reports. But we have to wait for the confirmation. But we are getting another big breaking news, sir. You stay with us. We'll take a response on that. Another big breaking news development. Russian ambassador to India, Denis Alipov, commented on the war in West Asia. He says resolution is always through negotiations. This conflict should be resolved as soon as possible. So this is the big statement that is coming in from the Russian envoy to India. He says that conflict should be resolved and it should be solved through negotiations. But negotiations were happening earlier, and that was the time when US struck Iran, has launched a barrage of attacks, bombed and killed Khamenei. But this is a very big statement which is coming from the Russian ambassador to India, Denis Alipov, who commented on the war in West Asia. He says that resolution is always through negotiations. This conflict should be resolved as soon as possible. So Russia is also pushing for negotiations. They want this conflict to end very soon. A big statement that is coming from the Russian ambassador to India, Denis Alipov.
Resolution is always through negotiations. The conflict should stop as soon as possible.
How long this conflict is going to continue, sir? How long?
I have no idea. This is a question to the US. Resolution is always through negotiations. The conflict should stop as soon as possible.
How long this conflict is going to continue, sir? How long?
I have no idea. This is a question to the US. Resolution is always through negotiations. The conflict should stop as soon as possible.
How long this conflict is going to continue, sir? How long?
I have no idea. This is a question to the US.
All right, so this was the Russian ambassador, and he's pushing for negotiations. Mr. Fabian, what's your take on this? China wants the war to end, and Russia is also pushing for negotiations. But also, Russia is already involved in a very long war with Ukraine. And don't you think Russia is also celebrating that America should also get involved in some sort of war, and also the financial crisis that is being faced by United States of America, because war is not a cheap business, sir?
Okay. First thing to understand is that when diplomats say A, they may not mean A, they may mean B or C. But that apart, let me continue with what I was saying. If President Trump wants to have a successful visit or even a visit to China, then he would have to put an end to it. And I don't think negotiations are required for that. It is possible for President Trump to declare victory. And you mentioned that regime change might not happen. But you also know that the Secretary of War has said more than once, we are not interested in regime change. So don't take these pronouncements seriously. As far as America is concerned, if Iran is in chaos, if the Kurds, the Baluchis, the Arabs and others start a rebellion against the central government in Iran, which gets weaker and weaker, then America will be very happy, because that is what Netanyahu wants. He also has been speaking of regime change, but you don't have to take it seriously, because if Iran is in chaos, then Israel becomes a hegemon in the region. No one to contest Israel's status as a hegemon. And Saudi Arabia, sooner or later, will normalize relations. That is the game they want. And what Iran is trying to do is to inflict economic cost on a scale bigger and bigger so that Trump cannot afford to have it.
Yes.
Now, my guess is that before meeting with Xi Jinping, that is 31st of March, Trump can declare victory. There is no question of talks. Iran is not going to talk. And what is there to talk about? They have talked twice. And don't forget, the talks in Geneva, which were finalized, concluded on the 27th of February, according to the Omani foreign minister who mediated, Iran agreed to zero enrichment, zero stockpiling, and converting the uranium with it into a state from where such that it cannot be used for weapon purposes, and also to say it shall never ever seek a nuclear weapon. So in other words, Trump had the option to go to town and say, look, I got a better deal than Obama. I am the deal, a master of the deal. And he could have revoked the sanctions and started doing business with Iran, and his family business would have made a lot of money. Now, my question to you, and I shall answer it partially.
Yes.
Why didn't Trump do that? Because he is having, and the Netanyahu has a chokehold on him. And why does he have a chokehold? I have my explanation, but let me stop here.
Yes, stay with us, Mr. Fabian. We have another development because this is how Israel is getting impacted. A big development coming in from Israel. The Israeli Ministry of Health has released a statement. Now, as per the Israeli Ministry of Health, evacuation of 1,473 injured to hospitals has been done now since the start of the war with Iran, including 199 during the past day. So in just one day, around 200, and since the beginning of the war with Iran, 1,473 have been injured. So this is not an easy war for Israel also. The health ministry has released the numbers, and the numbers are big. It's 1,473. The number is big as per Israel. Also, Mr. Fabian, your comment on this. Iran claims that the US and also Israel had miscalculated the capability of Iran of continuing this war. They thought that this war won't continue for a very long time. Mr. Fabian, all right. All right, so now in the other story, as the war wages on in West Asia, China is all set to send a special envoy to the Middle East for mediation. This comes as Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi spoke with Saudi Arabian and UAE counterparts. Have a look.
Day 5 of West Asia War. Casualties increasing by the day. World leaders, stakeholders huddling and holding phone calls to help reach an end to the endless war in West Asia. China is also weighing its options. For now, sending its envoy to Middle East for mediation. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi held a phone call with Saudi Arabian and UAE counterparts. In the talks, China hailed restraint shown by Saudi Arabia, urging everyone to engage in peaceful dialogue. China earlier took a position on the West Asia war, condemning the joint strikes by US and Israel as blatant, called the incitement to regime change as unacceptable. China also called for immediate ceasefire and requested to return to the negotiating table to prevent the war from expanding. With many countries engaging to find a headway, the stakes were never higher than this since World War II.
Well, it feels now at least 87 people were killed after a US submarine sank an Iranian warship, Iris Dina, in the Indian Ocean. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth stated that this was the first time since World War II the US had sunk an enemy combat ship by torpedo. Watch this detailed report for more information.
The Iranian Air Force is no more. Built for 1996, destroyed in 2026.
Well,
An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. In fact, last night, we sunk their prize ship, the Soleimani. Looks like POTUS got him twice. Their Navy, not a factor. Pick your adjective, it is no more. In fact, yesterday, in the Indian Ocean, and we'll play it on the screen there.
On the night of March 4, 2026, a U.S. submarine sank Iran's Iris Dena warship in the Indian Ocean. At least 2 weeks ago, the Iranian warship Iris Dena arrived in Visakhapatnam to participate in India's Milan 2026 naval exercise. Its sailors were seen marching in the video. According to a recent statement from Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister Vijita Herath, the Sri Lankan Navy recovered 87 bodies and rescued 32 people out of the 180 crew members on board. The fate of the remaining crew members remains unknown.
So early morning MRCC received a distress signal. Though it was beyond our waters, but it is within our search and rescue region. So as we are a maritime nation, we are obliged to respond. We are the first responders as per the international obligation. So Navy swiftly coordinated with the Maritime Rescue Coordinating Center, and also we disseminate this information to the Sri Lanka Air Force and Coast Guard as well. And we launch and dispatch our craft with all the necessary rescue team and the necessary devices to render humanitarian assistance, and we reached up to that location and continue doing this search operation. So while doing search operation, we found people floating on the floating in the water and rescued them, and later on subsequently when we inquired them, we found that those people are belonging to the Iranian ship, and we understood that they need prompt medical attention, and we swiftly transferred them to the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital.
Well, viewers, time to slip into a short commercial break, but don't go anywhere, because coming up next, Iran threatens to target Israel's Dimona nuclear reactor if US and Israel seek to change regime in Iran. Coming up next.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट, ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
ज्यादा स्वाद ये ही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा राजा और प्योर मसाला।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Welcome viewers. Republic India Women's Summit 2026 celebrates the spirit, strength and substance of women who are shaping nation's present and defining its future. This weekend, we bring together extraordinary voices from across sectors, from the brave ranks of the armed forces and CRPF to the arenas of sports, from the corridors of law and politics to the powerful worlds of cinema. Built on stories of courage, determination and relentless pursuit of excellence, this summit is a tribute to women who lead with conviction and inspire with action. Republic India Women's Summit 2026 is more than a platform. It is a movement of strength, a celebration of purpose and a powerful salute to women driving India forward. In fact, now let's cut across to headlines we're tracking for you at this hour. Nitish Kumar confirms a Rajya Sabha entry, steps down as Bihar Chief Minister. JDU workers protest outside his residence in Patna. Iran threatens to target Israel's Dimona nuclear reactor if Israel and the US seek to change regime in the country. Iran says the US and Israel miscalculated. Iran claims to have inflicted very serious damage. War reaches Indian Ocean. US torpedoes target Iranian ship off Sri Lankan coast in Indian Ocean. Iran government says over 6,000 injured in the attack by Israel and the US and 926 deaths confirmed in Iran as per the latest numbers. All right, viewers, the war in West Asia continues to escalate. We're getting some more developments. Iran's deputy commander of Khatam al-Anbiya headquarters has now stated that they are prepared to continue the war for as long as it takes to achieve their goals. This statement comes amid escalating tensions between Iran and Israel, with both the sides now exchanging attacks and counter-attacks. We're looking at the war, the theater of war widening, viewers. There have been continuous attacks, not just from Iran, but also from US and Israel. It's day 6 of the West Asia war, and now we've got a statement coming in from Iran. Iran says they are prepared to continue the war for as long as it takes for them to achieve their goals, which means all the countries involved in this war are in this for a long, long time. Iran says they are prepared to handle both peace and war. They preferred peace, but war it is this time, and they are now ready to continue for as long as it takes. All right, which means what we're looking at on day 6, there is no end to hostilities from both the sides. The pause in this conflict cannot be seen from afar. In fact, at this point, Iran says they are prepared to continue the conflict for as long as it takes for them to achieve their goals. Certainly on day 6, there is no end that we're looking at, or any pause in the hostilities or the conflict. All right, viewers, now the war in West Asia enters day 6, with Iran threatening to attack Israel's nuclear plant in Dimona. And this is if the US and Israel try to effect any regime change in the country. And amid these escalations, civilians in nearby nations are losing their residences and their livelihoods. Take a look at this detailed report that talks about how the war is now engulfing all the Arab states as well.
The war in West Asia is showing no signs of slowing down. And civilians in neighboring countries are paying the price as fire rains down from the sky.
So I woke up around 2:45 a.m. to one of the loudest bangs I've ever heard of in my life. It was an explosion. And so I quickly jump up and I see like all my windows are broken. And so then I go outside and I just see like a bunch of people, like 20, 30 men, soldiers, who are just, looking for something. I don't know what it is. I think they were looking for the drone.
Residents of Erbil, the capital of the semi-autonomous Kurdish region in northern Iraq, are waking up to explosions from drones and missiles every day.
So when it first happened, I just look over and I just see glass, all the windows broken. And I go outside to the living room and I just see all the windows are broken, and I hear yelling outside. So I go outside and I just see people, a bunch of people. Later I found out there was a drone right there and it was caught in the power lines. So that's why the explosion wasn't as bad as it could have been. It could have been worse.
The drones and missiles are destroying residences and public infrastructure in the Gulf nations, and Iraq, being closest to the epicenter of the war, is bearing the brunt.
Yo! No! Boom!
All right, viewers, we've got another breaking news coming in. IRGC has now issued a clear warning to US vessels that are trying to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, saying that they have hit an oil tanker already in the Persian Gulf, and the US allies and the US vessels will not be allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. The IRGC has now declared that the strait under Iranian control, stating that any ships attempting to pass through it risk damage from missiles or drones. The Strait of Hormuz has essentially now become a no-go zone, completely in control of the IRGC. That's the latest warning coming in from the Iranian side. In fact, viewers, they claim they've hit an oil tanker in the Persian Gulf. This oil tanker is linked to the US. And viewers, this comes right after Iran's Iris Dina was attacked by US torpedoes in the Indian Ocean yesterday. After that, we're looking at an attack on oil tanker linked to the United States by Iran. At the same time, IRGC has now issued a warning US vessels and the vessels of its allies will not be allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. They have declared it as a war zone, which is completely in control of the IRGC. All right, I'm also now being joined by Major General KK Sinha, defense expert. Thank you, Major General, for joining us on Republic. I want to ask you, we're looking at a conflict escalating day by day. Today is day 6, and this is when Iran has hit a US oil tanker claiming that the Strait of Hormuz has become a war zone. How do you see this going forward, sir?
Good afternoon, Jai Hind. See that today is the 6th day of the war, and what we see that is escalating every day, and the way the Iran is, conducting the complete war, especially in the Strait of Hormuz, they have taken the control. The 5th fleet of Americans is supposed to, which is in Bahrain, is supposed to have operationally, making sure that, this remains open, but they're not able to do it, including the aircraft carrier which has gone over there in the Arabian Sea, the Abraham Lincoln, has fallen back to the 2nd tier of the line so that they are not hit. So situation is very grim, and Iran has got a lot of capability. Mind you, they have got about 28, the mini submarines. These submarines operate in the low, shallow water of Strait of Hormuz, which others do not have this capability. And, yesterday it was told that, one submarine has been hit. Which submarine, I do not know. Over and above, they have got the capability to hold those islands next to the strait, especially in the Bandar Abbas areas. And these islands are absolutely on the channel, the 2 channel which is coming to Strait of Hormuz. One is in and one is out. The out channel is nearer to the Oman port city. That is also under attack. So I think this is very effective. Out of that, initially the reports were coming that 80% of the oil traffic has stopped, but now I believe it is much more. And if it carries on, today is the 6th day of the war. The Americans initially went that, they are gone for 4 days. They extended to 4 weeks to 5 weeks. Now they are talking, it is going to take something long. They will have the exit policy. So their miscalculations or the calculation and a cautioned, that you should not go there by the Chief of Staff of the United States of America, that you will get involved for a greater, longer duration. I think it is carrying on as on today in favor of Iran, because it is very difficult to take it out, and Persian Gulf is under their control. No traffic is going, and staying power, especially as the oil supply is concerned. India has got 25 days. We have got 25 days reserve. 90% of oil comes over there. So everyone will start, making hue and cry and efforts over there. The Russians and the Chinese also now getting slightly more exertive in this area. There has been the airlift of 660 tons of heavy lifting by Chinese. So they have come with, a better missile system, those missiles which is hypersonic, which can't be stopped. I think, in my judgment, there is something miscalculation. They thought that they will wind up very fast. It is getting prolonged, and the staying power of Iran is there, and their determination, because it is their existential problem they have got if they lose this area.
Right. Major General Sinha, one question that's on everyone's mind right now is how long can this go? I want to ask you, given the capabilities Iran has in terms of the stockpiles of drone, missiles, submarines you mentioned, Iran says it is prepared to go for as long as it is required. But how far do you think the country can stretch it at this point?
One thing is very simple. Till their morale is high, they will carry on. And IRGC, in my judgment, my understanding, and my functioning a little bit in the international environment, they have got that determination. They will do it because their economical dependency in this areas, especially of IRGC commanders, is very, very high. And Iranian people are not the way the things happened, because the Americans' miscalculation was there that there will be a total uprising and they will be able to, change the regime. change of regime in one thing and then enlarging it, saying that, missile capability, they want to take it out, their nuclear, in peaceful purposes, then further enlarging it. I think that was a total miscalculation. In spite of the caution by the people who understand the war in America, they have gone against it, I think what has happened, basically, there are other factors which has pulled them in. They wanted to have the control of the oil of Iranians, which I think, they have taken a chance and taken calculated risk, which is not going in their favor. You asked me how long it will carry on. It can go endlessly, because Iranian is getting the supplies, of their wherewithal, which I said 660 ton of heavy lifting done by the Chinese. And they have got to open skies through Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. It's coming directly from there. Then Caspian Sea, the Russians decide to carry on. That will be going to be endless. But Americans' staying power in this area, I have got my own doubts, which is limited. They're not able to do it in spite of the fact that the Fifth Fleet, which is operational responsibility to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, they are not able to do it. They should have done it before going for the kill that is on 28th, when they actually eliminated the higher leadership of war, which Iranian has already decentralized the complete command and control structure after June 2025.
Right. It does look like that US and Israel are miscalculated or underestimated that Iran would go to this scale and this length in terms of counterattacks. Major General, I'll come back to you. Stay with us on this broadcast. But viewers, right now we have an exclusive report from inside Iran. This details about the gathering for Ayatollah Khamenei at Inglim Square. Take a look at this report.
I'm here at Inglim Square. You can see behind me people are praying. And also they have gathered here to mourn the death of the Supreme Leader. As you know, the Supreme Leader was killed on the first day of Israel-US strikes on Iran. I also had the opportunity to talk to some of the mourners and also the Imam who is leading the prayer here. And they seem to be pretty angry at US and Israel because they tell me that our Supreme Leader has been killed. And now we are here to show that we are still mourning for him and we are more united than ever. Now, let's hear what they told me.
سوال میکنن مردم چرا اومدید اینجا؟ خودتون بگید چرا اومدید اینجا؟
I'm here at Inglim Square. You can see behind me people are praying, and also they have gathered here to mourn the death of the Supreme Leader. As you know, the Supreme Leader was killed on the first day of Israel-US strikes on Iran. I also had the opportunity to talk to some of the mourners and also the Imam who is leading the prayer here. And they seem to be pretty angry at US and Israel because they tell me that our Supreme Leader has been killed. And now we are here to show that we are still mourning for him and we are more united than ever. Now, let's hear what they told me.
سوال میکنن مردم چرا اومدید اینجا؟ خودتون بگید چرا اومدید اینجا؟
All right, Major General KK Sinha continues to stay with us on broadcast. Major General, coming back to you, we've taken a look at the situation inside Iran. Ayatollah Khamenei has now been replaced by his son Mojtaba Khamenei. So it's certainly far from a regime change. You know, the son is certainly set to take forward Khamenei's legacy.
You are absolutely right. What the American thought that, eliminating, the top leadership, including Ayatollah Khamenei, they will have a, fair game. People will come out in the street and they will take over. They want, as a change of regime. It is totally failed. As for the Mojtaba, Khamenei is concerned, he even was involved for controlling some sort of, war during that, 12 days war in June 2025. And he was the choice, and then he has been selected by the complete. He has got an anonymous, absolutely everyone has gone for him. It shows that the legacy of Ayatollah Khamenei, because the three-strung. It is not that he is the second. They have they have he has made it clear how it will go. As far as Ayatollah Khamenei was concerned, he was told to go inside the bunker, which he refused, and probably he wanted to have the martyrdom, achieve the martyrdom by and further uniting it. So Iran is more united than ever, I feel, because the resolve of more than 8.65 crore people, which is there in Iran, which was divided. If you have seen in your visual, even the women are now without hijab, but they are making and joining the hands there. That is a real change. I believe the people who were there earlier raising the slogan against the regime, they are also realized that if the Americans carried out with the design, Israelis has got a different aim. Israelis have got a problem of existential problem. So they are carrying out. They were against. That is a two different ball game. But the Americans come over there and supporting Israel, thinking that it is a strategic time to have the complete control of West Asia. That is wrong. Actually, everyone is just combining two things. Israel is different, why they have gone for it, and they have got legitimate right after 7th October. But the Americans, they have come, and they have come with a knee jerk, in spite of the fact that the Chief of Staff, General Daniel has cautioned them that it is not going to be an easy go, like in Venezuela they were able to do it. In spite of the fact they have gone, but attraction of the oil and the domination in the area is the basically of the Trump administration, and they are not talking in one sync. All are, when the Trump says he is the change of regime, when it comes down to, Pete Hegseth, he is saying something. When the Marco Rubio is talking about missile and also the nuclear capability taking it out. So they are in a different way. Trump require off-ramp. I think they will get an off-ramp because they do not have that much staying power in this area.
Right. Major General, certainly situation is looking very different if we look at the situation on day 6 compared to how it started. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on Republic and giving us your detailed analysis on the conflict in West Asia. And now viewers, shifting focus, political turmoil in Bihar after Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has stepped down from the CM's post. In fact, we are getting some more breaking news about India. In fact, MOUs are signed. Let's cut across to that breaking we're getting at this point. India is signing some significant MOUs is what we're given to understand, viewers. This is a breaking development that we're getting. In fact, India and Finland here are exchanging MOUs on certain critical sectors, and those are the visuals on your screen. The Finland president, in fact, on your screen, and the delegation also present there. And this is the exchange of the MOUs that's taking place, the MOU exchange ceremony between India and Finland. On your screen, these are the live visuals we're getting. On your screen, viewers, you can see the Finland president. And this is the exchange ceremony taking place as both the countries now exchange MOUs in certain critical sectors. It has been a significant visit of the Finland president to India. There's an entire delegation present there as well, along with the president. In fact, the joint statement will begin in a short while. Prime Minister Modi and Finland's president both present at the MOU exchange ceremony. The joint statement will start shortly. We'll get you all the update, viewers, on this.
दोनों देशों के डेलीगेट्स, मीडिया के साथियों, नमस्कार। 13वें फिनलैंड के राष्ट्रपति के रूप में अपनी पहली भारत यात्रा पर मैं प्रेसिडेंट स्टूब का हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। प्रेसिडेंट स्टूब एक प्रसिद्ध ग्लोबल लीडर ही नहीं, एक सम्मानित थिंकर और लेखक भी हैं। एक्सेलेंसी, आप जैसे अनुभवी और डायनेमिक लीडर का इस वर्ष के रायसीना डायलॉग का चीफ गेस्ट बनना हमारे लिए बहुत सम्मान और खुशी की बात है। फ्रेंड्स, आज विश्व एक अस्थिरता और अनिश्चितता के दौर से गुजर रहा है। यूक्रेन से लेकर वेस्ट एशिया तक दुनिया के कई हिस्से उसमें संघर्ष की स्थिति बनी हुई है। ऐसे ग्लोबल एनवायरनमेंट में भारत और यूरोप दुनिया की दो बड़ी डिप्लोमेटिक पावर्स अपने संबंधों के सुनहरे दौर में प्रवेश कर रहे हैं। हमारा बढ़ता सहयोग वैश्विक स्थिरता, विकास और साझा समृद्धि को नई मजबूती दे रहा है। फ्रेंड, वर्ष 2026 की शुरुआत में ऐतिहासिक भारत यूरोपियन यूनियन फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट हुआ। यह एग्रीमेंट भारत और फिनलैंड के बीच ट्रेड, इन्वेस्टमेंट और टेक्नोलॉजी सहयोग को और प्रबल करेगा। डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और सस्टेनेबिलिटी जैसे क्षेत्रों में भारत और फिनलैंड महत्वपूर्ण साझेदार हैं। नोकिया के मोबाइल फोन और टेलीकॉम नेटवर्क ने करोड़ों भारतीयों को जोड़ा है। फिनलैंड के आर्किटेक्ट्स के सहयोग से हमने चिनाब नदी पर विश्व का सबसे ऊंचा रेलवे ब्रिज बनाया है। फिनलैंड की साझेदारी से हमने नुमालीगढ़ में दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी बंबू टू बायोएथेनॉल रिफाइनरी भी बनाई है। फ्रेंड, ऐसे महत्वपूर्ण उदाहरणों से प्रेरित होते हुए प्रेसिडेंट स्टूब की इस यात्रा में हम भारत फिनलैंड संबंधों को एक स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप इन डिजिटलाइजेशन एंड सस्टेनेबिलिटी का रूप दे रहे हैं। यह पार्टनरशिप एआई से लेकर 6G टेलीकॉम तक, क्लीन एनर्जी से लेकर क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग तक कई हाईटेक क्षेत्रों में हमारे सहयोग को गति और ऊर्जा देगा। साथ ही डिफेंस, स्पेस, सेमीकंडक्टर और क्रिटिकल मिनरल जैसे की सेक्टर्स में भी साझेदारी और गहरी बढ़ेगी। भारत और फिनलैंड जैसे लोकतांत्रिक और जिम्मेदार देशों की यह स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप पूरे विश्व के लिए ट्रस्टवर्दी टेक्नोलॉजी और सप्लाई चेन सुनिश्चित करने में योगदान देगी। फ्रेंड्स, फिनलैंड भारतीय स्टूडेंट्स और टैलेंट के लिए एक प्रीफर्ड डेस्टिनेशन बन रहा है। दोनों देशों के इनोवेशन इकोसिस्टम को जोड़ने के लिए आज हमने फिनलैंड के साथ एक व्यापक माइग्रेशन एंड मोबिलिटी एग्रीमेंट किया है। इसके साथ हम जॉइंट रिसर्च और स्टार्टअप सहयोग को भी और मजबूत करने जा रहे हैं। शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में फिनलैंड एक रोल मॉडल है। आज हमने टीचर ट्रेनिंग, स्कूल टू स्कूल पार्टनरशिप और फ्यूचर ऑफ एजुकेशन में रिसर्च सहयोग बढ़ाने पर भी सहमति बनाई है। यानी स्कूल से लेकर इंडस्ट्री तक हम ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट के हर लेवल पर अपने सहयोग को नई गहराई देने जा रहे हैं। फ्रेंड्स, फिनलैंड नॉर्डिक क्षेत्र में भारत का महत्वपूर्ण पार्टनर है। हम फिनलैंड के साथ मिलकर आर्कटिक और पोलर रिसर्च में भी सहयोग बढ़ा रहे हैं। एक हेल्दी प्लैनेट हमारी साझी प्राथमिकता है। हमें बहुत खुशी है कि इस वर्ष फिनलैंड के साथ हम भारत में वर्ल्ड सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी फोरम होस्ट करने जा रहे हैं। इससे सस्टेनेबिलिटी के हमारे प्रयासों को नई गति और नए विचार मिलेंगे। फ्रेंड्स, भारत और फिनलैंड दोनों रूल ऑफ लॉ, डायलॉग और डिप्लोमेसी में विश्वास रखते हैं। हम एकमत है कि केवल मिलिट्री कॉन्फ्लिक्ट से किसी भी मुद्दे का समाधान नहीं निकल सकता। यूक्रेन हो या पश्चिमी एशिया, हम संघर्ष की शीघ्र समाप्ति और शांति के हर प्रयास का समर्थन करते रहेंगे। हम इस बात पर भी सहमत हैं कि बढ़ते हुए ग्लोबल चैलेंजेस के समाधान के लिए ग्लोबल इंस्टीट्यूशंस का रिफॉर्म आवश्यक ही नहीं, अर्जेंट भी है। और आतंकवाद के हर रूप को जड़ से समाप्त करना हमारी साझी प्रतिबद्धता है। योर एक्सेलेंसी, आपने आयरनमैन ट्रायथलॉन कंप्लीट की है। हमें विश्वास है कि आप जैसे ऊर्जावान लीडर के साथ मिलकर हम भारत और फिनलैंड के बीच इनोवेशन, डिजिटल और सस्टेनेबिलिटी के एक नए ट्रायथलॉन को भी अचीव करेंगे। आइए भारत फिनलैंड के इस फ्यूचरिस्टिक पार्टनरशिप में एक नए सुनहरे अध्याय की शुरुआत करें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. May I now request His Excellency Dr. Alexander Stubb, President of the Republic of Finland, to give his remarks to the media.
Mr. Prime Minister, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, namaskar, terve. As you said, thank you very much for your kind words. Also, thank you for the warm hospitality that you have shown us here. I have to say that I salute your diplomatic skills when you say that we stand here as two big democracies. There is one big and one slightly smaller, but I think the key message is that we share values. I would also like to congratulate you for your leadership. My last visit to India was actually in 2013 in my capacity as Minister of Trade. And the change that I just see on the streets of New Delhi and that I will most probably see in Mumbai in a couple of days is palpable. This is an economic miracle that we're witnessing, and I wish you all the best. Thank you also for welcoming me. I arrived yesterday in the middle of Holi, which was lovely to see. I was able to escape some of the color attacks that were coming at me, but it was a great experience as such. The previous state visit of Finnish head of state, the president, was actually in 1996 with President Martti Ahtisaari, who was very much a man of peace. He won the Nobel Prize of Peace in 2008 and was a great respected leader. Rarely, if ever, have we been in a situation also where we've had a prime minister here 2 weeks ago in the form of Petteri Orpo, and now a president 2 weeks later. India obviously is one of the world's largest and most influential countries and the world's largest democracy. And as we have seen, you are now a key strategic partner for Europe. Its importance in foreign and security policy and trade policy is difficult to overstate. You are one of the fastest growing economies in the world that we can witness here every day. And what I really respect about your foreign policy is that you've never been under illusions. You've always based your foreign policy on a pragmatic and realistic worldview. You've showed the rest of the world that strategic caution and safeguarding autonomy means a lot, all the while championing multilateralism and global cooperation. And I believe personally that we should all become a little bit more Indian. It's an honor for me to open the Raisina dialogues today together with you, Mr. Prime Minister. It's amazing to see the growth of Raisina. Only in 10 years it's become one of the key set pieces where everyone in the world is listening and watching what is happening at Raisina, not least right now when the world is so turbulent. The world is changing. We are living through a transition in the global order, and India, together with its friends in the global south, will determine the direction in which this order will go. And that is one of the key issues. It's been so fruitful to discuss and understand your approach. Today we discussed security issues in the region. We have conflicts in both regions, in West Asia and also, of course, in Ukraine. And for us, Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine has lasted for too long, 4 years. We agreed that ending the war is in everyone's interests. A lasting peace can only be one that respects the principles of the United Nations. Today, in my speech at Raisina, I will once again call for a change in the multilateral system where the division of labor and power would reflect today's world, and therefore I think a seat in the UN Security Council for India is of utmost importance. We of course also discussed today the relationship between India and the EU, and I have to say that the trade agreement and the strategic partnership that was forged just a little while back between the EU and India is of great significance. When the world is in transition, the United States, Russia, China, and many others, the fact that we can have a values and interest-based partnership between the European Union and India is very important. Now, of course, we're also strengthening the relationship between Finland and India. As you just mentioned, we're deepening our dialogue in many sectors, and our goal is to at least double our trade. A good beginning is the fact that we have 20 Finnish companies here who are traveling with me from a wide range of industries, from technology to quantum, to satellites, to networks, to food, and to green tech, which you mentioned. Our dialogue is further strengthened by the fact that we have a very strong Indian community in Finland. I know these numbers don't sound big to you, but for us they are. There are over 20,000 Indians that reside in the capital region of Helsinki and actually in Espoo. A gentle reminder, Finland has a population of 5.6 million, which is a little bit like a suburb in New Delhi. So you have to understand that for us, figures are of a different scale. Our Indian friends are a very valued member of our society and contribute significantly to our economy and culture. And it's good to also have the mayor of Espoo here with us today. Finally, I would like to thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for our excellent discussion. Anytime you have allotted a short amount for a one-to-one discussion and you run over it extensively, you know that the discussion has to be good, and we really enjoyed that. So sorry to the delegations that we were so late, and thank you once again for your warm hospitality for this state visit. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of this session. Thank you for your presence.
So there you had Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Finland President Alexander Stubb in a bilateral meeting and exchanging a memorandum of understanding between both the nations. Prime Minister saying that India and Finland follow the rule of law and dialogue and diplomacy, whereas Finland President Alexander Stubb talked about his discussions with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the war in Ukraine and in West Asia, saying that resolving these wars, both these wars, is in universal interest.
So you have these pictures coming out of the Hyderabad House in New Delhi, where both the leaders are exchanging MOUs between the nations, extending ties across various sectors. Finland president earlier said that he salutes India's diplomatic skills and praised India's foreign policy. All right, in a big breaking news, Denis Alipov, the Russian ambassador to India, says that he has no idea when the war will end, and this is a question to the United States. It should be asked to the United States. He also said that it is for India to decide its oil supplies and their source. And he said that we have always been open towards supplying oil to India. So this is a big news that is coming out. We have already seen how after the war in Ukraine, how the United States has been trying to arm twist India to decrease its oil supplies. But now Russian envoy making it clear that it is absolutely on to India whether it wants to continue taking the Russian oil or not. But as of now, it is absolutely open towards supplying oil to India. So this is a big statement by the Russian envoy to India, Denis Alipov. He has also commented on the war that is going on in West Asia, saying that the conflict should be resolved as soon as possible. And when asked when the war will end, he said that it is for the United States to answer. Take a listen.
Resolution is always through negotiations. The conflict should stop as soon as possible.
How long this conflict is going to continue?
I have no idea. This is a question to the U.S. supplies. We have always been open towards supplying oil. Resolution is always through negotiations. The conflict should stop as soon as possible.
How long this conflict is going to continue?
I have no idea. This is a question to the U.S. supplies. We have always been open towards supplying oil.
Now, Israel Ministry of Defense spokesperson's statement has come out on wartime procurement. Now, Israel Ministry of Defense has said that it is going to acquire dozens of GLTV vehicles for ground forces in approximately $26 million deal. So this is a big news amid the war that is going on in West Asia, where Israel is now looking to purchase GLTV vehicles for its army. Now, remember, these vehicles are used for ground forces. So, of course, we have already seen anticipations if Israel is going to invade Lebanon. We already have the reports that ground incursion has already started in Lebanon by the Israeli army. Now, there are concerns also if US and Israel will also carry out an incursion on the Iranian territory. And amid a situation where the stakes are very high, Israel now announces that it is going to acquire GLTV vehicles for its ground forces. And the deal is of approximately $26 million. So a big move here by the Israeli army. We've already seen how Israel is recruiting reservist forces to ramp up its efforts against its war against Hezbollah and Iran. So a big move, another move by Israel amid this war. This acquisition will play a crucial role and will turn the tide for this war as well, if the ground incursion is to be done in Lebanon and also in Iran. So this is a new piece of information that we're getting you. Now, at least 87 people were killed after a US submarine sank an Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean. A news agency reported the warship Iris Dana had participated in a naval exercise in India just weeks ago. Now, Iris Dana, a Moj-class frigate, also came to India in 2024 to participate in the multilateral naval exercise Milan. The same exercise, 2026 edition, also took place from where it sailed home today when the US submarine attacked it. Yesterday, in fact, it sailed when the US submarine torpedoed it and sank the ship. Take a look.
The Iranian Air Force is no more, built for 1996, destroyed in 2026. An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. In fact, last night, we sunk their prize ship, the Soleimani. Looks like POTUS got him twice. Their Navy, not a factor. Pick your adjective, it is no more. In fact, yesterday, in the Indian Ocean, and we'll play it on the screen there.
On the night of March 4, 2026, a U.S. submarine sank Iran's Iris Dena warship in the Indian Ocean. At least 2 weeks ago, the Iranian warship Iris Dena arrived in Visakhapatnam to participate in India's Milan 2026 naval exercise. Its sailors were seen marching in the video. According to a recent statement from Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister Vijitha Herath, the Sri Lankan Navy recovered 87 bodies and rescued 32 people out of the 180 crew members on board. The fate of the remaining crew members remains unknown.
So early morning MRCC received a distress signal, though it was beyond our waters, but it is within our search and rescue region. So as we are a maritime nation, we are obliged to respond. We are the first responders as per the international obligation. So Navy swiftly coordinated with the Maritime Rescue Coordinating Center, and also we disseminate this information to the Sri Lanka Air Force and Coast Guard as well. And we launch and dispatch our craft with all the necessary rescue team and the necessary devices to render humanitarian assistance, and we reached up to that location and continue doing this search operation. So while doing search operation, we found people floating on the floating in the water and rescued them, and later on subsequently when we inquired them, we found that those people are belonging to the Iranian ship, and we understood that they need prompt medical attention, and we swiftly transferred them to the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital.
Now, as the Middle East war escalates and expands, the United States has released a new video of the American Operation Epic Fury, calling the first 100 hours of the operation lethal and successful. United States said that the operation will continue till all the goals are achieved. Watch this video.
The United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury,
the most lethal, most complex, and most precise aerial operation in history.
Our military in the Middle East is undertaking an unprecedented operation to eliminate Iran's ability to threaten Americans, as they've been doing for nearly half a century. We are also sinking the Iranian Navy, the entire Navy.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved.
Now, as the West Asia war continues, Italy has also announced that it is going to enter the war. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said that we intend to send anti-aircraft systems to Gulf countries. More and more countries are joining the war now, a regional war taking the shape of a global war now. So this is a big news coming out of Italy, where now Italian Prime Minister, in fact, Giorgia Meloni said that she intends to send anti-aircraft system to Gulf. Now, speaking to a media outlet, she said that like the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy also intends to send assistance to Gulf countries, specifically in the field of defense and in particular air defense she talked about. She also said that this is not only because they are friendly nations, but above all, because tens of thousands of Italians live in the Gulf region and around 2,000 Italian troops are deployed there. People we want and must protect, she said. So this is clearly not taking a position in the war, but in fact saying that it is for the people of Italy who are present in the Gulf region and also Italian troops who are stationed in the Gulf region. She said that she intends to send anti-aircraft systems to the Gulf countries. Now remember, Iran has been continuously bombarding its missiles and drones, bombs on the Gulf nations, and that is the reason Italy wants to now respond and come to the rescue of these Gulf nations and also to protect its own citizens who are living in the Gulf region and also the troops, 2,000 Italian troops we are talking about who are deployed in the region. She says that she wants to continue to protect the Italians who are living in the region and are facing the wrath of the Iranian missiles and drones. All right, another piece of breaking news coming in. Israeli warplanes carried out an airstrike on the town of Western Zautar in southern Lebanon, escalating tensions along the Israel-Lebanon front. Now, meanwhile, residents in Doha reported hearing the echo of a loud explosion in the sky, prompting concerns and speculation about aerial activity in the region. So explosions are heard in Doha, Israeli warplanes attacking southern Lebanon. These are fresh explosions that we are reporting you viewers, back-to-back strikes being carried out by Israel on southern Lebanon. So the situation, another war front opening there as well, we've already seen in the past couple of days. All right. These are the visuals where we are getting you Nitin Nabin is seen in the visual. All right, so these are the nominations that are being filed for Rajya Sabha. You have Nitish Kumar as well. Nitish Kumar is also there filing nomination for the Rajya Sabha elections. So we have already seen the political scoop that we got you viewers in the morning, where we saw that how Nitish Kumar quit his position as the Chief Minister of Bihar, and now we have fresh visuals where he's filing nominations for the Rajya Sabha elections. You have Nitin Nabin as well and other leaders. Today is the deadline, 5th of March, for filing the Rajya Sabha election nominations. So you have Union Home Minister Amit Shah also present alongside Nitish Kumar. This is a big day for Nitish Kumar as his decades of political career as the Chief Minister of Bihar ends today. These are the live visuals that we are getting you from Patna, in fact, where he is filing the nominations for Rajya Sabha seat. He earlier left the Chief Ministerial post and said that, in fact, thanked the people of Bihar. These are the visuals. Amit Shah, Nitin Nabin, you also have Nitish Kumar present in Patna filing the nominations as he starts his new journey as, in fact, the nominations that he's filing for Rajya Sabha seat. These are the fresh visuals that we are getting you from Patna. He ends his career as the Chief Minister of the state, did a lot of work for the people of Bihar, was very well connected to the people, knew the ground realities of Bihar, led the state for decades, and now passing on the reins to BJP, who is going to, in fact, take over the government in Bihar. We do not yet know who is going to lead Bihar as a new Chief Minister, but he is today quitting and now filing nominations for Rajya Sabha seat. So these are the visuals from Patna, where he is filing nominations. His son, Nishant Kumar, is going to be taking over JDU's leadership. All right, I have my colleague, Senior Executive Editor Niranjan, with me on the phone line. Niranjan, this is a big day for Bihar. Bihar politics is going to see a massive, massive change. What are we getting to know so far?
Well, it's a big surprise. It's come as a surprise for even his own party. The fact that Nitish Kumar, the longest-serving Chief Minister in India, a record Chief Minister, and suddenly over his decision to sort of resign and become a Rajya Sabha member, he's expecting he's filing nomination for the Rajya Sabha and it is most likely that someone from the BJP will now take over as the Chief Minister of Bihar. Now, initially we were told that perhaps the understanding was that he will remain the Chief Minister for at least a year, but that has not happened. The elections took place earlier, a few months ago, and that is why this has come as a surprise. Nitish Kumar will be replaced by perhaps a BJP leader who could take over as a Chief Minister, but who the leader is, we don't know. There are several front runners right now for the post of Chief Minister in Bihar, and Nitin Nabin has also filed a nomination for the Rajya Sabha. So Nitin Nabin was there. Nitin Nabin, the BJP chief, is there, and along with him you also have Nitish Kumar. So both of them have filed their nominations. It appears because of papers, you can see Nitin Nabin there. Nitin Nabin is also from Bihar. He was a BJP leader, an MLA from Bihar, who was chosen to lead the BJP. And he too is filing his nomination as we speak. BJP leaders are filing their nomination for Rajya Sabha vacant seats. And Union Home Minister Amit Shah, the senior BJP leader there present, along with Samrat Chaudhary, is the BJP's Deputy Chief Minister in Bihar. And he too is present there along with the seat to the left of Nitish Kumar. And these are pictures coming in from Patna as BJP leaders file their nomination. And we are also hearing that the new, and Nitish Kumar, his message to the party cadre was that the new government which comes in now will have his full cooperation. There is also a big buzz around his son, who's expected to also enter the JDU and officially sort of head the JDU. Now, it's a political buzz, of course. We will have to wait and watch. But Nitish Kumar has made it clear, we are hearing from his party circles that he has made it clear to his party that there were attempts made to try and convince him to remain in the party, but that did not happen. He has decided to step down, and he will be heading to the Rajya Sabha. Those are pictures coming in of Nitish Kumar, along with Nitin Nabin, the BJP chief, and the other Rajya Sabha nominees of the BJP filing the nomination, the candidates rather filing the nomination, and filing the papers there in the presence of Union Home Minister Amit Shah. We'll take a short break and we'll come back with the live coverage.
आप जिस व्यक्ति
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MDH का जलजीरा जीरा सिप।
जीरा सिप, असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH।
Indian Ocean region, if you see the region right now, it is becoming a place of contestation. How you view the increasing maritime contestation?
21st century is going to be Indian Ocean century. We have to be ready to deal with situations across the spectrum with our extensive maritime domain awareness and our reach and sustainability. And if we were to call to do certain things in any level of spectrum, we are ready to do that.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK,
only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है, अरे मेरे राजा। सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching the Republic TV. This is Shivam Dutt Mehta, and in this bulletin we'll get you all the details of the conflict in the West Asian region, because both sides are firing missiles and barrage of drones against each other. We'll get you minute-to-minute updates of what's unfolding in the Middle Eastern region also. But first up, let's have a look at the top headlines of the hour.
Absolutely, we prefer the peace, and unfortunately they showed open hostility. This is very important.
Iranian ambassador speaks exclusively to Republic, accuses US and Israel of preferring war over peace. IRGC claims to have struck US oil tanker near the northern Persian Gulf. Iran threatens to target Israel's Dimona nuclear reactor if US and Israel seek to change regime in Iran. Iran says the US and Israel have miscalculated Iran claims to have inflicted very serious damage. War reaches Indian Ocean. US torpedoes Iranian ship off the Sri Lankan coast in Indian Ocean. And also, big focus. Nitish Kumar confirms Rajya Sabha entry, files nomination papers while being accompanied by Home Minister Amit Shah and BJP Chief Nitin Nabin. All right, viewers, we are getting another big breaking news from the West Asian conflict that is going on right now. Iranian drones have fallen on Azerbaijan territory. Big development here. West Asia war now engulfs Azerbaijan. In the latest development, the entire Middle East is already engulfed in the war that is going on right now at this moment. And this is the latest development confirmed. Iranian drones fall on Azerbaijan territory. Missiles and drones are being fired, being used by both the sides, and Iran is fighting this endless war with the United States of America and Israel. All major cities, major targets of that includes the US bases are being bombed, and this comes as the latest. The West Asia war has now engulfed Azerbaijan also, where you can clearly see this is Nakhchivan airport, the visuals of that. An Iranian drone has fallen on Azerbaijan territory. West Asia war has now engulfed Azerbaijan also. Latest development here, Azerbaijan also got caught in the war. Let's listen into the audio also of the impact that you will see. So these are the visuals, and you can pretty much hear the sound of a drone. Probably this might be a kamikaze drone that is being used for attack. We have to get it confirmed. They confirm that was a deliberately target in this attack, because this is the latest that is coming in from the war zone. Latest comes where Azerbaijan got hit by a drone. All right, we have guests joining us. We have Louis Gomes, Vice President of National Union of Seafarers of India, joining us via Zoom. And also, we'll be having other guests also. That is retired Major General Sanjay Meston, also joining us to speak on this issue. All right. So, right now we have Louis Gomes with us. What's your take on what's happening right now in the West Asian region? Iran has confirmed that it has the complete control over the Strait of Hormuz, but there are attacks being reported from nearby locations. What's the situation of the seafarers in that location, sir?
National Union of Seafarers of India expresses deepest concerns and sorrows about the recent attack which is happening on the merchant vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz, which is a very vital international shipping corridor. Around 20% of the oil and gas of the world passes through this strait. And we are very concerned since Saturday, 250 vessels are stuck up in this Gulf region. Around thousands of seafarers, Indian seafarers, are stuck. And we got the information around 37 Indian flag vessels, which is transiting from this area. About 1,100 Indian seafarers are stuck in Panjshir Gulf. We are already, it's been in the paper that the vessel Skylark, where 15 Indian seafarers were there. They were, 13 have been rescued, and 2 are still missing, and 1 is injured. Same way we have in one vessel in MKD Vayum, Marshall Island Flag. The one seafarer lost his life. As a union, we are extended our solidarity and support to the bereaved family. We are in contact with the company also, trying to get as much of assistance and help as needed. And we got a call from Basra, Baghdad embassy in Iraq. One seafarer also died over there during a missile attack from Iran. And there is a couple of projectiles which has been targeted the vessels. Some Hercules vessels where no fire was there, but it has been distinguished. And some vessels which is closely been projected by the missiles. But most of the thing is that we can find that 3 casualties and 2 missings. And Indian seafarers, and there are multiple Indian seafarers which are stuck up in Bandarabad. And National Union of Seafarers of India is in coordination with the embassy in Bandarabad to repatriate back them to India as soon as possible. We are also coordinating with the Director General of Shipping, embassy in Bandarabad, embassy in Baghdad, and our shipping companies. And we are closely monitoring the situation.
All right, sir. All right, sir. Stay with us. We have a big breaking news coming in. Let me share the details of that first. This is the big breaking news coming in. And this related to Indian seafarers who are stuck in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, 37 Indian flag vessels are stuck as of now, as we speak, in that region. 37 vessels are stuck, and 150 Indian and foreign flag ships are stuck in that region. And 2 casualties have also been reported as of now, as we speak. This is the latest development that we are fetching as of now. 2 casualties reported so far, 2 missing. National Union of Seafarers Association has shared this data. Data has been shared by the National Union of Seafarers of India, and we have Louis Gomes, who is the Vice President of National Union of Seafarers of India. How dangerous is the situation, sir? And what kind of support do you need in this critical situation as of now? Because the entire Strait of Hormuz, as declared by the IRGC, has become a war zone. And they are specifically targeting all vessels which are US allies. But are Indian ships safe as of now? Can they pass that region, or there's a complete blockade as we speak in this moment?
This is a very concerning period, which is it's a very dangerous situation, because most of the ship are stuck up there, and they are having a in a utter chaos, and they cannot come out of the Strait of Hormuz, especially. And the life of the seafarers is at stake at the moment. It's a very, very highly volatile situation. We are, as a shipping fraternity and industry, and the family of the seafarers undergoing through.
All right, sir. All right, sir. We also have retired Major General Sanjay Meston joining us to speak on this issue. Sir, this war is getting more dangerous, more fatal. The number of casualties are rising, and also the way US has torpedoed an Iranian vessel very close to the Sri Lankan coast. And now the Strait of Hormuz has literally become a war zone. Iran is striking the vessels there. And also, no port is safe as of now, as we speak in Iran. What's your take?
Yeah, my take is as follows. Firstly, now this has become a total regional war by Iran. And secondly, Iran now is targeting more nations. We have seen the recent these drones falling in Azerbaijan. And we must know that Azerbaijan and, of course, Israel have got very good relations. They have diplomatic relations. And they have got a good amount of setup there in Azerbaijan. And therefore, the worry to Iran is, that the area of Kurdistan is quite close by, because that is in northwestern western part of Iran, which is their province, and of course is the Karam Shah. So you are aware that President Trump is also speaking to the Kurdish rebels there, and therefore again that population is Sunni. Azerbaijan is again Sunni dominated. So some game is going on there, and Iran is taking preemptive actions by targeting all these places in Azerbaijan also. So they are enlarging the conflict. You are aware it is fired in a US base in Turkey. Of course, that was unsuccessful in Greece, Cyprus, everywhere. Yes. And of course, now Americans are also enlarging it. The fact that they have sunk an Iranian naval ship, a frigate, which was coming from Vizag after the International Fleet Review, in which even American ship had participated for exercise Villain. So that has been sunk in the territorial waters, not in the territorial waters, in the EEZ of this Sri Lanka. And I'm happy that it was not in the territorial waters of India. Otherwise, it would have become a major political issue within our country. Yes. So the conflict is being enlarged, and both sides today, none of them is prepared for talks. So where is this situation heading to? It's a very volatile, very uncertain situation. No one can today predict about it. And for India and the world, the entire concern is in the Strait of Hormuz and for the Gulf region. Because, see, oil is getting affected, your LNG in Bahrain and, of course, Qatar, the production has stopped. Those facilities have been shut down. So there is no transit of any oil or gas from there. 20% of the world's everything flows out from Strait of Hormuz. And of course, India is from there, it is about 40% of India itself. So what I'm trying to say is it's a total confusion. No one knows how to handle it. Everyone, and I think both sides have taken a very stubborn position. In one side, it is radicalism, which is, just now engulfed their minds so badly that they just not knowing what the end state will be. And the other side is also now very, very clear. US and Israel, they also want to continue hitting so that once for all this, the epicenter of terrorism for the 7 proxies in the entire region, including in Houthis, so they have to be curbed. So there is total confusion, very difficult to predict. And the strength of the Iranians as on date continues to be these missiles, ballistic missiles, the cruise missiles, and of course the Shahid missiles. So this kind of problem, I do not know how it is going to be resolved. And now people are talking about it can even exceed 100 days. And the interest of Iran is that this war must be prolonged. The more it is prolonged, it is in the interest of Iran because the whole region gets engulfed. The GCC countries suffer, other countries suffer like India, etc. And in the bargain, they are expecting that the whole world will start pressurizing United States that this war must cease. But the world also must know that Trump is not going to cease till the time he does not achieve his objective. So it's a very critical situation. The solution only is that either of the sides have to take stern action, and maybe that America has the wherewithal to once and for all target all these the ballistic missile sites and of course the drone sites, which is not easy. It's a huge country. Everything is well dispersed. So targeting them itself is going to take time because that is the Iranian strength. And once that is finished or neutralized, I think then it is going to take a different turn because once the power of the center of gravity of Iran is targeted, that is the missiles and the drones, I think then the things can take a positive turn. Otherwise, as on date, it is extremely bad for the entire region, and the two opposing forces, I would say, are totally hard on their stance. None of them ready to compromise and give up.
And IRGC has also warned that the future strikes will be more intense, and also it has been requested by US CENTCOM for more than 100 intelligence officers, for many intelligence officers for more than 100 days. All right, Luis Gomes was also with us, but Major General Meston, if you can put this into perspective, there is also a sort of blockade which is happening in that entire region, and it will have a very detrimental impact in the entire region. I'll come back to you with that question, but we also have a special report. We have an exclusive report from inside Tehran, ladies and gentlemen, a report of a gathering for Ayatollah Ali Khamenei at Enqilab Square in Tehran. Let's watch that report.
I'm here at Enqilab Square. You can see behind me people are praying, and also they have gathered here to mourn the death of the Supreme Leader. As you know, the Supreme Leader was killed on the first day of Israel-US strikes on Iran. I also had the opportunity to talk to some of the mourners and also the Imam who is leading the prayer here. And they seem to be pretty angry at US and Israel because they tell me that our Supreme Leader has been killed, and now we are here to show that we are still mourning for him and we are more united than ever. Now, let's hear what they told me.
سوال میکنن مردم چرا اومدید اینجا؟ خودتون بگید چرا اومدید اینجا؟
All right, there's another big breaking news coming in right now at this moment. Big breaking news coming in. And now, as per reports, IRGC is pressing for Mojtaba Khamenei. It was pressing earlier, and now it's again pressing hard for Mojtaba Khamenei to take over as dissent grows. Now, IRGC presses for Mojtaba Khamenei as the supreme leader for Iran, for Mojtaba Khamenei's leadership as the dissent grows. So, because this is from IRGC. The IRGC is pressing for Mojtaba Khamenei to take over as the supreme leader because he has a good grip when it comes to IRGC, and he is the son of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He's one of the potential successors when it comes to being the next supreme leader, though there are other contenders also in the line, but this is big breaking news coming in where IRGC presses for Mojtaba Khamenei. All right, viewers, moving on to our next big breaking news that we are getting right now. A second Iranian ship heading to Sri Lanka after submarine attack. All right, now a second Iranian warship was heading towards Sri Lanka's territorial waters. Now, Iranian vessel named Bushehr vessel is carrying more than 100 crew members. Another development, second Iranian ship is heading to Sri Lanka. One was torpedoed by a US submarine, and now a second Iranian ship is heading to Sri Lanka. This is the latest development that we are getting. This exactly was the place where the US submarine, the US Navy submarine was there, because after World War II, this was the first time a ship was torpedoed in the entire world. Now, this is the first. And also, this is the second time second Iranian ship is heading towards Sri Lanka. One ship was torpedoed, and many were killed. More than 83 were killed. Many are missing. Many are getting treatment in a hospital in Sri Lanka as we speak. Now, a second Iranian ship is heading towards Sri Lanka. This is the latest big development we are getting of an Iranian ship heading towards Sri Lanka. All right, we have Major General Sanjay Meston to speak on this issue. Sir, as we were speaking earlier, they already struck the Iranian vessel earlier with a torpedo. Now, this was the first time, as claimed by the US government, that after World War II, this was the first time a vessel was struck using a torpedo. Now, another vessel is moving towards Sri Lanka. Is there any reason? Are they going to target the submarine, or does Iran have a strategy when it comes to tackling the situation, because their ship was hit and they have lost a lot of personnel, lot of Navy personnel in that entire region?
Yeah, absolutely. The logic of moving this ship, firstly, I am not aware from where it is coming, but I presume it is coming from the Persian Gulf area, apparently, because in the case of this exercise Milan in Vizag, it was only one Iranian ship. So what I have not understood, why it is coming from Persian Gulf and what is the intent. And generally, the ships never move alone when there is such kind of warfare.
Yes.
So I do not know why this ship is moving alone, because I perhaps feel that this itself now is a lucrative target for the enemy.
Yes.
You have to now, do fire and move. So generally, ships have to be supporting to each other. Not that they have to be close, they have to be far, they have to be in communications, and they have to be. So you have seen any movement, including of the US aircraft carrier, it is supported by so many ships.
Yes.
Nothing can move alone. Imagine a US aircraft carrier just moving all by itself into the most vulnerable and lucrative target. So logic of moving the ship is not understood. See, what is happening now is that the command control structure of Iran has been severely affected. There is no doubt. Now, what may be happening is that some middle rank leadership may be passing orders on their own. Now, see, in warfare, you cannot be sentimental and emotional. You just heard those cries, revenge, revenge. Everyone wants to take revenge. But it has to be analyzed. Warfare is a serious business. It is a profession. It is not sentimental and emotional, because some people feel that, emotions are going to win war. Right. No, it is practicality. So maybe in an emotional stance, it is like typical खून का बदला खून से revenge. उन्होंने हमारी डुबोई, अब हम इसको एक हमारी भी शिप भेजते हैं, वो उसको डुबो देगी.
Yes.
This is all ridiculous.
Yes.
So I think this is going to be a suicidal action if they are moving an independent lone ship to this area. Until and unless they have had a mutual understanding with the...
There's surely a possibility, General Miston, that they might be sending submarines also, whatever Iran has when it comes to submarines. Stay with us, sir. We have another big breaking news coming in. We would like your comment on that too. The first footage of Israeli F-35 shooting Iranian fighter jet. We'll show you the footage. The first footage of F-30 shooting the Iranian fighter jet, the Yak, as has been claimed by IDF. The first footage of F-35 shooting down the Iranian fighter jet. Ladies and gentlemen, on your television screens in a short while, we have just received the footage, and this is it. This is the exclusive footage on your screens as we speak right now. You see, this is the image of how the Israeli Air Force shot down the Iranian jet, the exact time it was shot down. And you can see the Iranian fighter jet, that is the Yak 130, on your screens. As you can see, this was targeted by the Israeli F-35I, and it got engulfed in flames and it crashed. It was targeted by the F-35. So state-of-the-art modern aircraft F-35 was used to attack the Yak 130 of the Iranian Air Force. Major Meston, if we do a comparative analysis of the Israeli Air Force and the Iranian Air Force, Iran stands ahead when it comes to missile technology and drone technology, but Israel has all the modern fighter jets required, but Israel does not have the strategic depth for a very long war, sir. Your take on the F-35 shooting down an Iranian fighter jet?
See, again, my take was that firstly, F-35, F-15, so F-18, F-22, so many modernized aircraft, fifth-generation aircrafts are operating in this theater of war. And all these basically belong to United States and Israel.
Yes.
Now, even this Yak aircraft, one has really not heard about it. Obviously, see, the inventory of the Iranian Air Force is very, very old. It is outdated.
Yes.
Now, what is surprising is that firstly, US has been making a statement that there is air supremacy. If there is air supremacy, how has this Iranian aircraft taken off from one of the airfields, military airfields in Iran itself? That is a big question. Number two, why the Iranians have, taken this risk when they know F-35s are flying and, the latest technology, and even they have MQ-9B drones and large number of satellites coverage, the best satellites in the world are with the US. It is again suicidal to just move a fighter aircraft or two of them just moving. So they're just trying to project to the people that they're capable. But in military planning, you have to be smart. You have to know what the enemy's advantage is. You have to focus on your strength rather than exposing your weaknesses and getting your resources being shot down for no rhyme and reason. After all, resource shot down means you're losing a pilot. You're losing at the UN cost. The same pilot could have been used in some other operations, or send him to a missile detachment where he can be used effectively, because that is a strength.
Yes.
So exposing your vulnerability is, I think, foolhardiness, the way now they're sending another ship, even if it is, I would say, escorted by submarines. I will give that they are escorted by submarines. But you see the dispersal now they're going to have. They are just going to have some of their force in Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, and one small element, maybe with one or two submarines moving to Sri Lanka. And what for? They are now getting further isolated. So they will be, you cannot detach your forces.
Definitely.
In warfare, it is concentration of forces, applicability at the right time and at the right juncture.
Yes.
So I think, sometimes with emotions, people can just take such decisions at the cost of losing lives. So I think Iran is being suicidal. Now even firing drones in Azerbaijan. Now, they should realize, the vulnerability of Iran is towards the northwest and the western border. You have the Kurdistan border, you have the Karamshah, the province, the Kurdistan province of Iran. And of course, on the north is Azerbaijan. So Azerbaijan will also start training some of the elements there from, and Mossad is based there. The special forces of the
General Meston, you are saying that Azerbaijan was deliberately targeted. Are you saying that?
Yes. So it's been deliberately targeted. So they are inviting trouble. Iranians are actually now, I would say they are off their mind. They are inviting trouble for themselves. Azerbaijan is not going to sit quiet. Firstly, they are Sunnis, and the interest, the Mossad is there in large numbers. The special forces of the Israeli forces are there. They are operating. So now they are going to unite the Azerbaijan people there, the Sunnis over there, the Kurdistan Sunnis who are part of the Kurdistan province. And I think the protest and revolt will start that side. Iran should remember that Mehsana Amini, that girl who was killed in 2022 by the Iranian police, for not putting on a hijab and for exposing her hair. She incidentally belonged to Kurdistan, that province of Iran. So she had just come to Tehran. So they must realize that, the Kurds are a different identity. So now they are going to unite the Kurds. They are going to unite the Sunnis of Azerbaijan, and Kurds also, who are the majority of them are Sunnis. So Iran is not actually inviting trouble. They are thinking that by firing at everywhere, including, AFO's the base in Turkey and Greece, etc., I think a stage may come when the entire
if that was the case,
NATO may get involved.
if that was the case, it has already struck the various US bases which are present in the entire Middle East, and there is definitely a conflict between the Shia countries and the Sunni countries, as you are saying. But Middle East is not responding in that way. But will Azerbaijan exactly respond in a way that you are saying it will strike back?
See, yes, I will tell you, Middle East is not going to respond for one reason. Because their security guarantee is already there by the presence and the way the US troops and Israeli troops are taking care of that. So they are just on a defensive mechanism. And that's what they have been stating, that we have got full right to defend our sovereignty. They will not, and they do not have a continuous border with Iran. So they do not have any capabilities. And these countries are looking for peace, development, and prosperity. Azerbaijan has been in warfare for so many years. They against Armenia. So they have that experience. Now they are not going to, launch missiles and drones. They will just do asymmetric warfare by launching their Sunnis in conjunction with the Kurds over there in Kurdistan province. So they are inviting trouble. So one has to see the geographical reality. The geographical reality is Azerbaijan is contiguous to Iranian northwest provinces, and incidentally, the name of those provinces are also, I think, North Azerbaijan, Central Azerbaijan.
Yes.
So imagine both sides of the border. One side is Azerbaijan nation, and the other side is on south of that line is Azerbaijan, part of Azerbaijan provinces, part of Iran. So they are inviting trouble for themselves. Here the border is contiguous, so asymmetric warfare is going to be the order of day. And let me again tell you, the Kurds have got a lot of experience in asymmetric warfare, whether it is against Turkey.
All right.
So I think this is a...
Sir, stay with us. Major General Minister, stay with us. So we are getting a big breaking news as we speak, and this is related to Azerbaijan. Sir, we'll need your response on that. Azerbaijan summons Iranian ambassador over the drone attack. Big development here, because Azerbaijan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has already strongly condemned the drone attacks carried out from the territory of Iran. Now, in a statement, the ministry has emphasized that Azerbaijan strongly condemns the drone attacks launched from the Iranian territory. The Foreign Ministry has noted that the attack on Azerbaijan's territory contradicts the norms and principles of international law and contributes to escalating tensions in the region. Now, at the same time, the Azerbaijani side has stated that it reserves the right to take appropriate response measures. It will respond, it has the right to take appropriate response measures. But what kind of measures can it take place, Major General Meston? Your response on that? The Azerbaijan has summoned the Iranian ambassador over the drone attack, but will it be able to respond, or they will just lodge a protest, and if there is no casualty, let's get over with it. They will say, let's get over with it. Iran will say that our target was something else,
definitely, definitely, this is a symbolic protest they will launch, which is part of protocol diplomacy, that the moment such things happen, but it is not casualty. Casualties will not define that they have to respond. See, what will make them respond is, and perhaps they are already doing it, certain covert operations are going on. Let us understand between Azerbaijan and Israel, what is the relationship? They have a diplomatic relationship, they have defense cooperation, and in defense cooperation, the following has been given. One, they have been given large number of drones. They have been given air defense weapon systems, which were also used against Armenia. And of course, they have a very good intelligence setup, joint intelligence and counterintelligence. So what does it imply? There are Mossad and Israeli special forces apparently based in Azerbaijan. And I remember when I was in Afghanistan, way back in 2011 to 2014, one got some kind of report that Israel, I'm talking about that era, they were very active in Azerbaijan. So beyond this, you can understand that Azerbaijan has the capability to launch asymmetric warfare. Now, do they launch their regular forces? The answer is no. For asymmetric warfare, you have trained and motivated people. They will be utilized. Remember, again, it is Sunni dominated. And further south, if you go to the Iranian province of Kurdistan and Khorramshahr, this is also Sunni dominated. So probably this is what exactly Trump is looking for, that in these areas of Kurdistan and all, get them to start protesting. And if you recollect, what is Iran doing? What is Israel doing? They are bombarding all IRGC assets in Kurdistan province of Iran, so that once these targets have been bombarded, the net advantage would be that once the locals feel there that now the effect of IRGC is gone, obviously there will be protests. So this is what the strategy is happening, and I feel Iran is falling trap in this game plan.
Right, Major General, I'll come back to you as we continue to analyze all the developments that are coming to light on day 6 of this war. But we have some reports also lined up to play for our viewers. Now, viewers, at least 87 people have been killed after the U.S. submarine sank an Iranian warship Iris Dana in the Indian Ocean. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has said that this was the first time since the World War II that U.S. sunk an enemy combatant ship by a torpedo. Watch this detailed report for more.
The Iranian Air Force is no more, built for 1996, destroyed in 2026. An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. In fact, last night, we sunk their prize ship, the Soleimani. Looks like POTUS got him twice. Their Navy, not a factor. Pick your adjective, it is no more. In fact, yesterday, in the Indian Ocean, and we'll play it on the screen there.
On the night of March 4, 2026, a U.S. submarine sank Iran's Iris Dana warship in the Indian Ocean. At least 2 weeks ago, the Iranian warship Iris Dana arrived in Visakhapatnam to participate in India's Milan 2026 naval exercise. Its sailors were seen marching in the video. According to a recent statement from Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister Vijitha Herath, the Sri Lankan Navy recovered 87 bodies and rescued 32 people out of the 180 crew members on board. The fate of the remaining crew members remains unknown.
So early morning Emma.
और सार्वजनिक जीवन के उच्चतम मूल्यों के पक्षधर रहे, जिनका पालन उन्होंने भी किया। नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में 11 साल तक बिहार को हर प्रकार से आगे ले जाने में बहुत बड़ा योगदान किया और उनके नेतृत्व में ही मोदी जी की भेजी हुई सभी योजनाएं बिहार के जन जन तक पहुंची। 1974 के जयप्रकाश आंदोलन के वो प्रमुख नेता रहे हैं और तब से लेकर आज तक पूरा जीवन जेपी के सिद्धांतों पर उन्होंने बिताने का प्रयास किया। आज फिर से एक बार वो राज्यसभा के सांसद के नाते दिल्ली आ रहे हैं। मैं और एनडीए के सभी साथी उनका हृदय से स्वागत करते हैं और उनका कार्यकाल जो मुख्यमंत्री के नाते हैं वो हमेशा बिहार के लोग याद भी रखेंगे, उसका सम्मान भी करेंगे। मैं फिर से एक बार नितिन नवीन जी और नीतीश कुमार जी का राज्यसभा में आने का स्वागत करता हूं। धन्यवाद।
All right, that was Home Minister Amit Shah speaking about Bihar's Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, who has now in fact got an entry to Rajya Sabha. He filed his nomination just a while ago in the presence of Home Minister and BJP President Nitin Abeen. We've got the statement. Let's take a listen as to what the Home Minister has to say.
आज मैं पटना में श्री नितिन नवीन जी, राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष भाजपा, श्री नीतीश कुमार जी, बिहार के यशस्वी मुख्यमंत्री, श्री रामनाथ ठाकुर जी, श्री उपेंद्र कुशवाहा जी और श्री शिवेश राम जी के राज्यसभा के नामांकन के लिए यहाँ पर आया हूँ। श्री नितिन नवीन जी राज्य में लंबे समय तक यशस्वी राजनीति करने के बाद भाजपा के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष बने हैं और अब वो राज्यसभा के माध्यम से संसद में भी अपना योगदान देंगे। हम सब एनडीए के सदस्य, भाजपा के करोड़ों कार्यकर्ता नितिन नवीन जी का राष्ट्रीय राजनीति में और संसद में स्वागत करते हैं। आज बिहार के यशस्वी मुख्यमंत्री श्री नीतीश कुमार जी ने भी राज्यसभा में अपना नामांकन किया है। इसके साथ ही बहुत लंबे अरसे के बाद श्री नीतीश कुमार जी फिर से एक बार राष्ट्रीय राजनीति में राज्यसभा सांसद के नाते प्रवेश करेंगे। 2005 से लेकर आज तक नीतीश कुमार जी बिहार के मुख्यमंत्री रहे। उनका एक कार्यकाल एक प्रकार से बहुत यशस्वी रहा। ये कार्यकाल उनका बिहार के इतिहास में स्वर्णिम पृष्ठ के रूप में लिखा जाएगा और बिहार के विकास के सारे मायने को उन्होंने गति देने का काम किया। उन्होंने अपने शासनकाल में बिहार को जंगल राज से मुक्त करने का काम किया। इन्होंने बिहार की सड़कों को न केवल गांवों तक जोड़ा, बिहार की सड़कों की स्थिति को भी सुधार किया। इतने लंबे करियर में विधायक, सांसद, मुख्यमंत्री, केंद्रीय मंत्री रहते हुए उनके कुर्ते पर कभी दाग नहीं लगा। पूरा जीवन भ्रष्टाचार के आरोप लगने बगैर इतना लंबा राजनीतिक सफर शायद ही किसी राजनेता ने तय किया हो जो नीतीश कुमार जी ने किया है। बिहार में हर गांव, हर घर में बिजली पहुंचाने में भी उनका बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा। हमेशा नीतीश जी सादगी, शुचिता और सार्वजनिक जीवन के उच्चतम मूल्यों के पक्षधर रहे हैं, जिनका पालन उन्होंने भी किया। नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में 11 साल तक बिहार को हर प्रकार से आगे ले जाने में बहुत बड़ा योगदान किया और उनके नेतृत्व में ही मोदी जी की भेजी हुई सभी योजनाएं बिहार के जन जन तक पहुंची।
All right, viewers, now going back to the developments coming to light from West Asia. Iran here has issued a warning to US, Israeli, European and all the allied vessels that they are banned from transiting through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran, in fact, has said that all the violators here will become a target of its drone and missiles if they try an attempt to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, which it says has now become a war zone. It has complete control over the strait. That's the big breaking now coming in. Israel, in fact, Iran has issued a warning to not just Israel, US, but all the allied vessels, saying that it has become a war zone and all the violators who try and attempt to pass through the Strait of Hormuz will in fact be targeted. And now, viewers, the war in West Asia has entered its day 6, with Iran threatening to attack Israel's nuclear plant in Dimona, and this is if US and Israel try and attempt a regime change in the country. Now, amidst this escalating war, civilians in nearby nations are still losing their residences and their livelihoods. Take a look at this report and how the Gulf nations have now been engulfed in this West Asia war. Take a look.
The war in West Asia is showing no signs of slowing down. civilians in neighboring countries are paying the price as fire rains down from the sky.
So I woke up around 2:45 a.m. to one of the loudest bangs I've ever heard of in my life. It was an explosion. And so I quickly jump up and I see like all my windows are broken. And so then I go outside and I just see like a bunch of people, like 20, 30 men, soldiers, who are just, looking for something. I don't know what it is. I think they were looking for the drone.
Residents of Erbil, the capital of the semi-autonomous Kurdish region in northern Iraq, are waking up to explosions from drones and missiles every day.
So when it first happened, I just look over and I just see glass, all the windows broken. And I go outside to the living room and I just all the windows are broken and I hear yelling outside. So I go outside and I just see people, a bunch of people. Later I found out there was a drone right there and it was caught in the power lines. So that's why the explosion wasn't as bad as it could have been. It could have been worse.
The drones and missiles are destroying residences and public infrastructure in the Gulf nations, and Iraq, being closest to the epicenter of the war, is bearing the brunt.
Now, viewers, as the Gulf War escalates, what is also increasing is the number of casualties on both the fronts and constraints on the global economy. The war that began with Israel, US and Iran now has engulfed the whole of Middle East, with even sub-fronts opening between Israel and Hezbollah. With this mayhem in the Middle East, what is translating into a major impact on the global economy? The larger question, viewers, is how long will this war last? Watch this detailed report about all the latest developments coming to light.
Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime.
الان مترو رد میشم این چیه اونجا چیه
Well, most of the people we had in mind are dead. So, we had some in mind from that group that is dead. And now we have another group, they may be dead also, based on reports. So I guess you have a third wave coming in. Pretty soon we're not going to know anybody.
The kind of bombing going on in Tehran and the kind of retaliation by Iran, I think we should wait and watch for at least 3-4 days. Mustafa has now taken over as the new Supreme Commander, almost in lines of his father in his thinking. And a person who has lost his father, mother, wife, daughter, everyone in this entire bombing there. And he had been appointed as the Supreme Commander, who himself was once responsible for the siege, and also the IRGC is committed to him. In that context, much of diplomacy may not really work now. And with this, the kind of bombing going on in Tehran and the kind of retaliation by Iran, I think we should wait and watch for at least 3-4 days before either does Iran capitulate, which again may be difficult, but not totally ruled out, primarily because Iran is now on its end of its resources. They are on commercial drones, small drones, big drones. The number of missiles have reduced much. Anybody might say they've kept some as reserves. I don't think so. Iran has shot whatever it had and may have kept about 10-15%, but that's not likely to cause very huge difference, one. Second, some earthquake kind of a thing being noticed 10 kilometers down. One doesn't really know what that earthquake actually involves. Is it a nuclear testing done by Iran? Yet someone says that they may go in for a hypersonic missiles, things of those kind. Very difficult at this point of time because the Americans and the Israelis have not gone to war with closed eyes. They know exactly what the capabilities of Iran were, though Iran may have surprised by the resilience and by the retaliation. Notwithstanding, I think Iran, as long as that, if it had confined itself only to bombing or shelling of the US bases, the 19 of them in West Asia, it would still have been accepted because you're bound to, because if you're at war, you can expect that retaliation. But since Iran has expanded its bombardment, missiles, drones on commercial assets of Kuwait, or Dubai, or Bahrain, or Qatar, is indicative that now a divide between the Arabs and the Persians would grow wide. Earlier, it was expected that the entire community might get together and fight the Israelis and fight the Americans, but it doesn't seem so now. There's a divide. And therefore, the kind of infrastructure of Iran in total stress, whether it is on electronic warfare, cyber warfare, all of its kind, and much of its missiles and drones aren't making the impact that they were supposed to, primarily, again, because it's very difficult to keep a control of the command. But my guess would be, let's wait for at least about 3-4 days, and maybe we would be able to come with, the Americans are prepared for a long drawn war, but the Iranians may not be able to take on that unless the expectation of change of regime, the change of regime is almost ruled out because it's the same regime, same thinking, same ideology. So the change may not come unless people themselves come out and revolt, which again seems the country is on a 40 days mourning for their religious head who controlled them for almost 36 years, and his son alone has now taken over. So expect for well, if they do not capitulate, then a long drawn war. But then, since Mustaba has taken over, tighten your belts and be ready. And if you want peace, be prepared for a nasty, expensive, destructive war. And sooner or later, Iran obviously have to lose, but it's better that they, going on a negotiating table, diplomacy, dialogue. If Iran wants it, can still be done. But if they don't want it, difficult. But then we'll have to wait and watch. Can't really say how long, but maybe 4 to 5 weeks at the most. But within a week, we will know how long.
All right, viewers, we've got another breaking news coming to light. A French foreign minister has now spoken to his Iranian counterpart, Bakshi. In fact, he's had a phone conversation with him, clearly urging for de-escalation in the conflict. The ministry here says that the foreign minister of France condemned the Iranian strikes, reaffirmed the country's commitment to stability in Middle East, and calling for de-escalation and resumption of a diplomatic dialogue between the warring countries in compliance with the international law. So France here, in fact, has come out and clarified on its stance regarding the war in Middle East. He has spoken to his Iranian counterpart, clearly urging for de-escalation in this war. All right, viewers, we've got some dramatic visuals coming to life from Nakhchivan airport. This after a drone attack took place. This is in Azerbaijan. In fact, and now another development coming to light. Iranian ambassador has been summoned over the drone attack that took place in Azerbaijan. We've got some visuals. In fact, viewers, will show them to you in just a short while. Those are the visuals of the attack that took place near Nakhchivan airport. And right after the attack, Iranian ambassador has been summoned, is what we're given to understand. Those are the visuals, viewers. It looks like the war is widening by every hour. This is the attack that's now been carried out by Iran inside Azerbaijan. So more and more countries are now getting pulled in. This is near Nakhchivan airport. The attack took place near the airport, and those are the visuals on your screen. And post that attack, Azerbaijan, in fact, has now summoned Iranian ambassador, is the latest what we're picking up, viewers. Now, those visuals on your screen show you the aftermath of the attack which was carried out. Azerbaijan claims it's an attack carried out by Iran near the Nakhchivan airport. And post that attack, in fact, we understand that ambassador has now been summoned. Iranian ambassador has now been summoned by Azerbaijan. Now, those are the visuals. They show you the impact of the attack near Nakhchivan airport in Azerbaijan. Viewers, day 6 of the West Asia war, more and more countries are now pulled in. First it was West Asian countries, and now Central Asian nations are also being pulled into this war. All right, viewers, that's all we could pack in this edition of Live and Breaking. Thank you so much for watching, but don't go anywhere. On the other side, we discuss how Israel and US miscalculated the strikes by US is what Iran now claims, is saying that it has inflicted serious damage on both these countries.
Do say that Operation Sindoor is still on, and when we get a chance in the next round, we hope we have the opening shot.
As a Navy, we do believe that we have got the ability to carry out large-scale destruction. If given an opportunity in any future eventuality, we hope that we are the first one to fire that salvo.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट, ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
From our security and maritime point of view and the present situation that's happening globally, what impact is it having on your strategies?
We learn from every event, every opportunity, not only from our own experiences, but also from what is happening around the world. The Indian Navy is fully geared up to face any challenges of any kind.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ।
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
यानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH। थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा मसाला।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Prompt. Republic India Women's Summit 2026 celebrates the spirit, strength and substance of women who are shaping the nation's present and defining its future. This weekend, we bring together extraordinary voices from across sectors, from the brave ranks of the armed forces in the CRPF to the arenas of sports, from the corridors of law and politics to the powerful world of art and cinema. Built on stories of courage, determination and relentless pursuit of excellence, this summit is a tribute to women who led with conviction and inspire with their action. Republic India Women's Summit 2026 is more than a platform. It is a movement of strength, a celebration of purpose and a powerful salute to the women driving India forward. Let's also take a look at the headlines for the hour. Take a look at this. Iranian ambassador speaks exclusively to Republic, accuses US and Israel of preferring war over peace. IRGC claims to have struck US oil tanker near the northern Persian Gulf. Iran threatens to target Israel's Dimona nuclear reactor if US and Israel seek to change regime in Iran. Iran says the US and Israel miscalculated. Iran claims to have inflicted very serious damage. War reaches the Indian Ocean. US torpedoes Iranian ship off of the Sri Lankan coast in the Indian Ocean. Nitish Kumar confirms Rajya Sabha entry, files nomination papers while being accompanied by Home Minister Amit Shah and BJP Chief Nitin Nabin. Viewers, now let's quickly shift focus to the latest visuals that we're getting in from the Iraq-Iran border. Now remember, the war has broken out. In fact, this is a live video from Iraq near the border with Iran, which is launching more missiles at both Israel and US bases as the war in West Asia enters its sixth day. These are the latest visuals that we're getting in from the borders of Iran and Iraq. Now remember, viewers, this comes as multiple countries of the Gulf region have already entered the war, with multiple more from the West also and Europe looking to enter the war as well. Now these are the live visuals on your screens from the Iranian border with Iraq. Iran is now launching more missiles at Israel and multiple US bases as the war in West Asia enters its sixth day. All mum on the borders, as most border towns have been evacuated as the war erupts further in the Gulf region. Viewers, also tracking some more breaking developments, we have gotten a footage of Israeli Air Force's strikes in Iran. Now, this footage, which has been released by the Israeli Defense Forces, shows precision munition strikes that have taken place in the Iranian territory. The Israeli military, on day 6 of the war, continues to strike deep inside Iranian territory. This video of a drone attack has been released by